Chapter 2858. Ling Xiao was still alive. The three heavenly venerate patriarchs of the 9 imperial obelisk had ugly expressions on their faces. Their eyes were filled with unwillingness and fear. This heaven's chosen son actually had such terrifying providence? Even the self-destruction of 1,000 heaven's punishment soldiers couldn't kill Ling Xiao. The three heavenly venerate patriarchs' eyes were filled with incomparable madness. It was as if they wanted to order the last 2,000 heaven's punishment soldiers to self-destruct and deal a heavy blow to Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao seemed to have seen through their thoughts and sneered. Self-destruction? If 3,000 heavenly venerates self-destruct, it might be of some use. Today's 9 imperial obelisk shall be destroyed. Rumble. As soon as Ling Xiao finished speaking, the time compass spun and rose into the sky, releasing a dazzling light. The vast river of time flowed, containing the power of time. In an instant, an incomparably mysterious domain of time spread out. The 2,000 heavens punishment soldiers seemed to have been frozen by the time compass. The vast power of time continuously surged into their bodies, freezing their auras and preventing them from self-destructing. Ling Xiao was prepared this time, so he naturally wouldn't allow them to self-destruct again. The self-destruction of 2,000 heavens punishment soldiers might not be able to kill Ling Xiao, but it might really cause him unbearable injuries. Everyone listen to my orders. All troops, attack and destroy the 9 imperial obelisk. Ling Xiao's eyes were incomparably cold, and his voice was like divine thunder that exploded in the void. Kacha. The heavenly might was like a prison monument, releasing a dazzling light. In an instant, an incomparably resplendent spatial tunnel appeared, directly connecting the inner and outer regions of the 9 imperial obelisk. Ling Xiao had already comprehended a trace of the 9 heavenly punishment array's power. In addition to his heaven's punishment secret technique, he could finally use the heavenly might to forcefully open a spatial tunnel and summon an army. Rumble. Outside the 9 imperial obelisk, the numerous experts under Ling Xiao's command roared in agreement. Their eyes were filled with an incomparably powerful battle intent as they passed through the spatial tunnel and descended into the 9 imperial obelisk. Terrifying auras intertwined, as vast as the sea. Ling Xiao's army of saints had descended. The 30 celestial venerables were as dazzling as the sun. The aura of the pinnacle of the Saint Dao erupted from them without the slightest bit of concealment. On the other hand, the army of 100,000 sages obeyed every order. These powerful and ferocious demon clans all possessed ancient bloodlines. After 200 years of training by Shang, not only did their powers improve by leaps and bounds, but they also formed a powerful army. Annihilation of sects and clans. The 3 heavenly venerate ancestors of the 9-layered imperial obelisk instantly paled as they recalled Ling Xiao's words. Even the 9 levels of heavenly punishment grand array could not stop Ling Xiao's footsteps at all too. At this moment, everyone in the 9 layers imperial obelisk was filled with despair. Outside the 9 imperial gates, the faces of the spectators were also pale. Their eyes were filled with deep reverence. Ling Xiao used an incomparably domineering method to tell everyone that slaughtering sects and exterminating clans was not just empty talk. And today, the 9-layered imperial obelisk was truly going to disappear from the god world. Ling Xiao, stop. We submit. We only beg you to spare the 9-layered imperial obelisk. We are willing to pay any price. Ling Xiao, we were wrong. We shouldn't have attacked you. We shouldn't have betrayed the war god temple. As long as you are willing to spare the 9-layered imperial obelisk, the 3 of us will be at your disposal. Ling Xiao, you can't destroy the 9-layered imperial obelisk. This is the orthodoxy of the celestial emperor. Aren't you on good terms with the son of the celestial emperor? We are willing to serve the son of the celestial emperor as our master. We only beg you to spare us. The 3 heavenly venerate ancestors of the 9-layered imperial obelisk instantly panicked. Their faces were filled with struggle, but they still opened their mouths to beg for mercy in the end. They really felt the threat of death. Ling Xiao's domineering strength and dominance made them tremble in fear. At this moment, they no longer cared about their dignity. They only wanted to survive and protect the 9-layered imperial obelisk. You only want to beg for mercy now? It's too late. I gave you a chance, but unfortunately, you didn't cherish it. Do you really think that I don't dare to slaughter sects and exterminate clans? Don't flatter yourselves. You even want to kill the son of the Celestial Emperor. And now you say that this is the orthodoxy of the Celestial Emperor? Ling Xiao sneered. His eyes were filled with ice-cold killing intent. He saw the panic in the eyes of the three heavenly venerate ancestors of the 9-layered imperial obelisk, as well as the many elders and disciples. That kind of fear and despair. But what he saw was even more hatred. The hatred between him and the 9-layered imperial obelisk had long been irreconcilable. Let them go. Not only would they not be grateful, but they would also hate Ling Xiao even more and want to take revenge on him. The great tribulation of the era had arrived. Ling Xiao didn't have so much time to waste with them. He had to clear out all his enemies in the divine realm and build a strong rear. Only then could he focus on his next plan. Everyone listen up. In the 9-layered imperial obelisk, those who surrender will be spared from death. Those who resist will be killed without mercy. Ling Xiao coldly ordered. We obey the orders of the demon lord. The many experts under Ling Xiao roared in response. Their voices shook the clouds. Rumble. Many experts covered the sky and covered the earth. Their killing intent surged, and their eyes were incomparably cold as they charged toward the people in the 9-layered imperial obelisk. It's over. The 9-layered imperial obelisk is finished. The three heavenly venerate ancestors were filled with despair. Their bodies trembled violently, and their hearts were filled with boundless regret. At this moment, an Aishang, Cypress Pine, Peony, and 8-Pole King were already charging toward the three of them. 30 heavenly venerate experts and 100,000 saints attacked at the same time. Ling Xiao even blocked the heaven's punishment saber with heaven's might. Who else in the 9-layered imperial obelisk could contend against them? As for the lightning emperor's statue, it became even more tattered after the self-destruction of the 1,000 heavens punishment army soldiers. It seemed to have lost more than half of its power, and was directly imprisoned by Ling Xiao in a prison that was as mighty as the heavens. The entire 9-layered imperial obelisk was engulfed in a blood-red massacre. The experts under Ling Xiao strictly carried out Ling Xiao's orders. Those disciples with low cultivation were trembling all over. After they chose to kneel and surrender, no one harmed their lives. As for those who stubbornly resisted, they were all killed. There were over 1 million people in the 9-layered imperial obelisk, but almost half of them died in this battle. They were all loyal to the 9-layered imperial obelisk, and they wanted to live and die with the 9-layered imperial obelisk. Rumble. The 9-layered imperial obelisk became like azure hell. The thick smell of blood filled the air and dyed the 36 immemorial lightning mountains red. A thought appeared in everyone's mind. The 9-layered imperial obelisk was really destroyed. Apex. Chapter 2859. The three heavenly venerate ancestors of the 9 imperial obelisk were all killed as expected. Almost all the experts above the sage realm were dead. These were the elites of the 9 imperial obelisk, and were loyal to the core. They couldn't have chosen to surrender. Even if they did, they would have been disloyal. They were all killed by Ling Xiao's subordinates. As for the disciples below the sage realm, they were all kneeling on the ground, trembling as they waited for Ling Xiao's punishment. The majestic and imposing 9-layer imperial obelisk was now covered in a layer of bloody mist, looking extremely miserable. Buzz. In the void, the heavenly punishment saber trembled slightly, emitting an incomparably sharp saber intent. It wanted to break through the void and escape. The heavenly punishment saber seemed to be extremely intelligent. After seeing the 9 imperial obelisk destroyed, it wanted to leave immediately. However, Ling Xiao blocked the heavenly punishment saber's path with the prison steel and time compass, trapping the heavenly punishment saber in the void. Ling Xiao used the heavenly punishment secret technique. His body was resplendent and lightning intertwined, emitting an incomparably strange aura. He wanted to create a domain that would stop the heavenly punishment saber from rejecting him. In the end, the heavenly punishment saber finally calmed down, and was caught in Ling Xiao's palm. What a sharp heavenly punishment saber! Ling Xiao exclaimed in his heart. As expected of the lightning emperor's weapon, it contained the power of heavenly punishment. It was incomparably terrifying and seemed to be able to destroy everything. Ling Xiao could feel an incomparably strong tearing sensation when he held it in his palm. However, he could only make the heavenly punishment saber no longer reject him. If he wanted to completely refine the heavenly punishment saber, he had to cultivate the Lightning Emperor scripture. Ling Xiao, how should we deal with the surrendered disciples of the 9 Imperial Obelisk? The old goat looked at Ling Xiao and asked. Bring them all back to the War God Temple, and organize them into the new heavenly punishment army. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Although he didn't want to implicate others, these disciples of the 9 Imperial Obelisk would be a disaster if they were released just like that. Ling Xiao might as well be overbearing for once and organize them into an army. They would become the War God Temple's Heavenly Punishment Army. As for the 2,000 Heavenly Punishment Army experts, they were all killed by Ling Xiao. They were all loyal to the 9 Imperial Obelisk and would never surrender to Ling Xiao. But the new Heaven's Punishment Army was different. They would become the sharpest blade in Ling Xiao's hands. Next, Ling Xiao led the group and charged into the 9 Imperial gates in the sky. The majestic palaces looked majestic and magnificent. They were surrounded by auspicious qi and dazzling divine light. Now that the 9-layered Imperial Obelisk was destroyed, it was time to collect the spoils of war. There were a total of 9 origin source elixir rivers in the sky, emitting a dazzling light. They floated like dragons, containing a vast amount of origin source energy. Naturally, Ling Xiao did not stand on ceremony, and kept the 9 origin elixir rivers. He sent the experts under his command to the Alchemy Hall, Weapon Forging Hall, Treasure Hall, Herb Garden, Beast Palace, and other important places of treasures in the 9-layered Imperial Obelisk to search for treasures. As for the old goat, Taoist Wuliang, and the white dragon horse, these 3 fellows could not wait any longer. No one knew where they had gone to search for treasures. Ling Xiao, on the other hand, headed towards the scripture depository in the Imperial Obelisk alone. His goal was the Thunder Imperial Sutra. The Thunder Imperial Sutra was the supreme celestial realm left behind by the Thunder Emperor. It contained the Thunder Emperor's great Tao origin, and was the key to controlling the heavenly punishment saber. The Thunder Imperial Sutra was also an extremely powerful offensive Tao. It was also an extremely important reference for Ling Xiao's cauldron nurturing scriptures. In fact, Ling Xiao was looking forward to the inheritance of the 9 emperors of the human race. He had obtained the Heavenly Emperor scripture from Zhao Ritian. As the head of the 9 emperors of the human tribe, the peerless Heavenly Emperor who had swept across the heavens in myriad worlds, he was naturally filled with admiration. However, although he had cultivated the Heavenly Emperor scripture, he had rarely used the Supreme Emperor techniques in the scripture. The Tao of the Heavenly Emperor was the Heavenly Tao. It was the path of invincibility. It was the great Tao that could kill all enemies in the world. The Thunder Emperor was also one of the 9 emperors of the human race. He was known to be second in terms of killing, second only to the Heavenly Emperor. The Thunder Imperial Sutra comprehended the Heavenly Punishment Great Tao. The Heavenly Punishment Great Tao was one of the supreme Great Taos. It contained a peerless offensive power. It had the extreme yang of the Thunder Tao, and also the majesty and dominance of the Heavenly Tao. Ling Xiao had just searched the souls of the Heavenly Venerate Patriarchs in the 9-layered Imperial Obelisk, and confirmed that the Thunder Imperial Sutra was in the Hidden Scriptures Hall. The Hidden Scriptures Hall was a gray palace that looked very ordinary. It was filled with chaotic mist and strange Tao marks. When Ling Xiao entered the Hidden Scriptures Hall, he saw a pedestal where a divine statue was placed. At that moment, the divine statue was already gone. So the Thunder Emperor's divine statue has always been placed here? Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat. He took out the Thunder Emperor's divine statue that he had put away. The Thunder Emperor's divine statue looked tattered, but it was intertwined with an immortal luster that contained the mysterious power of heavenly punishment. Ling Xiao placed the Thunder Emperor's divine statue in its original position, and then began to use the heavenly punishment secret technique to communicate with the Thunder Emperor's divine statue. This was also the information he had obtained from the 3 Heavenly Venerate Patriarchs. The Heavenly Punishment secret technique was the key to unlocking the Thunder Imperial Sutra. Rumble. As Ling Xiao used the Heavenly Punishment secret technique, the blazing light around him became dazzling. Streaks of lightning intertwined and resplendent runes appeared. The hidden scriptures hall trembled slightly. The Thunder Emperor's divine statue suddenly released a blazing light. The void in front of him rippled like water, and a strange space appeared in front of Ling Xiao. In that strange space, resplendent stars floated. They intertwined with each other like a dazzling galaxy. Those stars revolved around an eternal sun. At that moment, the sun emitted a blazing light. Rather than calling it a sun, it was more accurate to call it a ball of lightning condensed from lightning. It looked majestic and mysterious. Ling Xiao could sense that those stars were all incomparably mysterious cultivation techniques. This was the hidden scriptures hall of the ninefold imperial obelisk. It was also the foundation of the ninefold imperial obelisk. It contained the powerful cultivation techniques and supreme secret techniques that the ancestors of the ninefold imperial obelisk had created or obtained over hundreds of millions of years. And the most precious one was naturally the Thunder Imperial Sutra. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of anticipation as he reached out to grab the sun in the center. Rumble. When Ling Xiao's palm came into contact with the sun, a blazing bolt of lightning shot up like a waterfall, spreading out and enveloping Ling Xiao's entire body. Ling Xiao felt as if chaotic lightning had exploded in his sea of consciousness. An incomparably mysterious scripture appeared in his mind. Thunder Imperial Sutra. This was the Thunder Imperial Sutra, a supreme imperial sutra left behind by the Thunder Emperor, one of the 9 emperors of the human race. It contained the Thunder Emperor's Tao. As Ling Xiao used the heavenly punishment secret technique, it was passed down to him without any hindrance. Chapter 2860. The news of Ling Xiao destroying the ninefold imperial obelisk quickly spread throughout the entire divine realm, as if it had grown wings. In the divine world, everyone's attention was on Ling Xiao. He could be said to be the center of attention. Everyone wanted to see how the grudge between Ling Xiao and the various immortal Holy Lands would be resolved. However, they didn't expect that Ling Xiao would really come to question them and destroy the 9 imperial gates first. The ninefold imperial obelisk was definitely not the weakest among the 12 immortal sacred grounds. Moreover, it was one of the most powerful and domineering immortal sacred grounds. The ninefold imperial obelisk, which claimed to have obtained the legacy of the Celestial Emperor and the Thunder Emperor, had always considered itself the orthodox. The Lightning Emperor Sutra was even more famous in the God world. It was the supreme legacy of the Lightning Emperor. However, this imperial 9 imperial obelisk was still destroyed by Ling Xiao. It's too tragic. The 9 imperial gates originally thought that by relying on the heavenly punishment saber and the 9-layered heavenly punishment array, they would be able to block Ling Xiao's attacks. However, they didn't expect Ling Xiao to possess the heavenly punishment secret technique. He actually killed his way into the 9 imperial gates and killed many Empyrean powerhouses. Even the heavenly punishment army was completely annihilated. Someone who experienced the battle at the 9 imperial gates explained slowly. His eyes were filled with undisguised reverence. The 9 imperial gates was destroyed just like that? So Ling Xiao really did it. Now that the 9 imperial obelisk had been destroyed, who would be next? The Heavenly Curse sect? The 5 Elements Celestial sect? Or the Chinese? The Supreme Emperor Array and the Sex Foundation are the last things that the immortal Holy Lands can rely on. Now the Supreme Emperor Array is useless against Ling Xiao. Those immortal Holy Lands are probably panicking. I wonder what they'll choose. Will they bow to Ling Xiao or fight to the death? Next, there's still the Chinese Heavenly Curse sect, 5 Elements Celestial sect, and Time Heavenly Gate. These 4 immortal Holy Lands have always been in an alliance. I wonder how they'll deal with Ling Xiao's fierce revenge. Ling Xiao has 30 heavenly venerables and 100,000 saints under his command. If there's no Supreme Emperor Array, it's enough to destroy any immortal Holy Land. I think they'll choose to compromise. Ling Xiao is too terrifying. He's indeed the chosen one. I'm afraid he'll replace the 9 imperial gates and become another immortal Holy Land. From now on, no one in the divine realm would dare to disregard Ling Xiao. However, Ling Xiao is a cruel and bloodthirsty person. He doesn't care about the big picture, and he's so powerful. I really don't know if it's a blessing or a curse for the human race. Everyone was discussing the battle at the Imperial Obelisk and guessing Ling Xiao's next move. The 9-layered Imperial Obelisk was destroyed. Although everyone was shocked, they didn't think too much about it. This was mainly because the 9 Imperial Obelisk was used to being arrogant and despotic. It didn't have a good reputation in the divine realm. Everyone held a wait-and-see attitude towards the destruction of the 9 Imperial Obelisk. On the other hand, Ling Xiao's reputation grew stronger and stronger, becoming an existence that attracted the attention of the entire God realm. His every move would attract the attention of the entire God realm. Damn it! Ling Xiao was actually able to dissolve the 9-layered heavenly punishment array and directly charge into the Imperial 9-layered Imperial Obelisk? I'm afraid even our Supreme Monarch formation won't be able to stop him. He has the wordless heavenly scripture and the 12 heaven arts. If he has comprehended the 5 elements, our Supreme Monarch formation won't be able to do anything to him. Many of the higher-ups of the 5 elements celestial sect had panicked expressions on their faces. The destruction of the 9-layered Imperial Obelisk had also completely frightened them. There were a total of 4 immortal sanctuaries in the Shangqing celestial domain. They were the War God Temple, the 9-layered Imperial Obelisk, the Heavenly Curse Sect, and the 5 Elements Heaven Sect. Now that the 9-layered Imperial Obelisk had been destroyed, it would probably be there and the Heavenly Curse Sect's turn next. If we continue to stay, only death will await us. We will never lower our heads to Ling Xiao. Now take all the sect's treasures and bring all the elders and disciples to the Daoyuo territory to find the Chinese. That's right. Although Ling Xiao is strong, he definitely won't be able to break the 12 divine fiends array of the Chinese. If he dares to go to the Chinese, only death awaits him. Let's go, we will fight Ling Xiao to the death in the Chinese. The higher-ups of the 5 Elements Heaven sect finally decided to go to the Daoyuo territory to seek refuge with the Chinese. They couldn't stay and wait for death. In addition to the 5 Elements Heaven sect, the Heavenly Curse sect and the Space-Time Heavenly Gate had also received the news of the destruction of the 9-layered Imperial Obelisk. In the end, they chose to go to the Daoyuo territory to seek refuge in the ancestral land of the Chinese. They were allies, and it could be said that they were bound together for good or ill. Moreover, they had the deepest enmity with Ling Xiao. They knew that if they gave in to Ling Xiao now, it would be difficult for him to let them go. Moreover, they were unwilling to lower their heads to Ling Xiao. They had placed all their hopes on the Chinese. They hoped that the Chinese would be able to defend against Ling Xiao's attack, and even kill him. Soon, everyone in the divine world was shocked to find that the 3 immortal sanctuaries, the Heavenly Curse Sect, the Heavenly Curse Sect, and the Space-Time Heavenly Gate, had abandoned their sections. Everyone had chosen to flee to the Daoyuo territory. Are they going to fight Ling Xiao to the death in the Chinese? They are also afraid of Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao has destroyed the 9-layered Imperial Obelisk. If they stay, they will only end up like the 9-layered Imperial Obelisk. Ling Xiao hates the Chinese the most. He will definitely lead the experts under him to the Chinese. I'm afraid this will be an earth-shattering battle. I wonder who will win between Ling Xiao and the Chinese. Let's go to the Daoyuo territory. We can't miss such an earth-shattering battle. In the divine world, after many experts received the news, they were extremely excited and wanted to witness the battle with their own eyes. Everyone rushed to the Daoyuo territory, the 9-layered Imperial Obelisk. Ling Xiao had obtained the complete inheritance of the Lightning Imperial Scripture from the Scripture Depository. The Lightning Imperial Scripture was indeed a supreme imperial scripture. It contained the heavenly punishment Great Tao, and it was an inheritance that led to the supreme imperial realm. Moreover, the Lightning Imperial Scripture was fierce and domineering. Its power was unparalleled, and it was a powerful offensive technique. There were a few supreme imperial techniques in it that made Ling Xiao very tempted. Most importantly, the Lightning Imperial Scripture was the key to controlling the heavenly punishment saber. After obtaining the inheritance of the Lightning Imperial Scripture, Ling Xiao would be able to refine the heavenly punishment saber. There were countless treasures in the treasure vault of the 9-layered Imperial Obelisk. All of them were plundered by the experts under Ling Xiao and sent to Ling Xiao. There were various treasures, powerful weapons, elixirs, and runes. It was a dazzling sight. Ling Xiao was even more convinced that the 9-layered imperial obelisk had obtained the treasure vault of the ancient heavenly court. This was because there were even a few incomplete supreme imperial weapons. Other than that, Ling Xiao had also obtained 2 powerful supreme metals. These were treasures that could be used to refine supreme imperial weapons. He was very tempted. Top. Chapter 2861. The old goat, Taoist Wuliang, and the white dragon horse were also grinning from ear to ear. It seemed like they had also gained a lot. Ling Xiao, now that the 9 imperial obelisk has been destroyed, shall we go and destroy the 5 elements celestial sect? There must be more treasures in the 5 elements celestial sect. The white dragon horse was almost drooling as it spoke with shining eyes. The 5 elements celestial sect? Ling Xiao smiled faintly as a sharp glint flashed in his eyes. I'm afraid we can't go to the 5 elements celestial sect. At this moment, Lu Bai flew over from afar, and his voice rang in everyone's ears. Why is that? The white dragon horse's eyes revealed a trace of doubt. Everyone in the 5 elements celestial sect has abandoned their mountain gate and gone to the Daoyuo territory to seek refuge with the Chinese. Not only the 5 elements celestial sect, but even the heavenly curse sect and the space-time heavenly gate have made the same choice. Lu Bai said slowly. They have escaped? The white dragon horse and the old goat looked at each other. They did not expect the destruction of the 9 imperial obelisk to have such a terrifying deterrent effect that even the 3 immortal sanctuaries, the heavenly curse sect, and the space-time heavenly gate, fled. Are they afraid that I will break their supreme emperor array and end up like the 9 imperial obelisk? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he spoke slowly. That's right. Everyone in the realm of the gods knows that you have the wordless heavenly book and the 12 sky skills. The 3 immortal sanctuaries are completely afraid. What do you plan to do next? Lu Bai nodded and said, originally, I thought that it would be troublesome to destroy the sects one by one. I didn't expect them to all go to the ancestral land of the Chinese. Do they really think that I can't do anything to them? Fine, this is good too. Let's kill our way to the Daoyuo territory and kill them all. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as a strong murderous aura spread out from his eyes. That's right. These guys are still stubbornly resisting. Let's kill our way to the Daoyuo territory and kill all those bastards. This will save us a lot of trouble. The old goat's eyes brightened as he sneered. Among the Chinese, there is the 12 Divine Fiends formation personally set up by Emperor Tiandu. It is not comparable to the Supreme Emperor formation of the immortal sacred grounds. Its power is unparalleled and extremely terrifying. Are you confident? Lu Bai looked at Ling Xiao and said, the 12 Divine Wraith formation was also known as the number 1 monarch formation in the divine world. Emperor Tiandu had become a monarch through the Tao of Arrays. The 12 Divine Wraith formation that he had created was incomparably terrifying. It had killed countless monarchs. During the era of Emperor Tiandu, he had used the 12 Capital Heaven Divine Wraith Array to kill Emperor Realm experts. 12 Capital Heaven Divine Wraith formation? I've long wanted to experience the power of the number 1 Emperor formation in the Divine Realm. Gather the army and follow me into the Great Haven Law domain. Ling Xiao smiled faintly, the sharpness in his eyes unparalleled. Yes. Everyone's eyes lit up. Every one of them was filled with an unparalleled fighting spirit. The annihilation of sects and clans was not only to settle the scores with the immortal sanctuaries and settle the grudges between them, but also to train his troops. After the 2 great battles, the aura and sharpness of the experts under his command had become more and more intense. Their cohesiveness had also become stronger. Rumble. In the sky above the 9-layered imperial obelisk, Ling Xiao opened a void passage with his heavenly might and headed towards the Great Haven Law domain. The Great Haven Law domain was the center of the 33 heavens of the divine world. The Great Haven Law domain was vast and boundless. It was the ancient battlefield of the Great Divine Demon War. Previously, the Demon Clan had attacked the divine world from the Great Haven Law domain. There were a few monarch clans guarding the Great Haven Law domain. Other than the fact that they were the descendants of the 9 emperors of the human clan, and deserved to enjoy the best resources in the divine world. They also had their own responsibilities. They had to stand on the front line against the demon clan. Once the demon clan attacked the divine world again, they would be the first line of defense that the demon clan had to face. The ancestral land of the Chinese was located in the north of the Great Havenlaw domain. On a vast mountain range, towering ancient trees stood in great numbers. Ancient vines and herbs could be seen everywhere. It emitted a desolate and ancient aura, as if it was from the ancient mythical era. The 12 primordial sacred mountains were located on the ground. They were millions of feet tall, and were like primordial ferocious beasts that were hibernating. They were connected to the heavens and earth, and their auras were powerful and terrifying. On the 12 primordial sacred mountains, there seemed to be a mysterious and ancient world. That was the celestial capital domain, the true ancestral land of the Chinese. The 12 primordial sacred mountains were said to have been moved by the celestial capital emperor from the myriad worlds. They were the foundation of the 12 divine fiends array. At the same time, they were branded with supreme monarch aura. As for the celestial capital domain, it was a world that the celestial capital emperor had created. It was vast and mysterious. Roar, roar. Within the 12 primordial sacred mountains, there was a terrifying aura that burst out. Those were powerful primordial ferocious beasts, which were also the divine beasts of the Chinese. They all had incomparably long lifespans and were extremely powerful. The entire ancestral land of the Chinese looked majestic, just like the heavenly palace of the antiquity times. It showed that it had an extremely powerful foundation. Rumble. Ling Xiao led the many experts under his command to the ancestral land of the Chinese. Looking at the 12 primordial sacred mountains that were connected to the heavens and earth and hidden in the clouds, Ling Xiao was amazed. He could vaguely feel the powerful monarch aura from the 12 primordial sacred mountains, and the incomparably terrifying runic array. It was the 12 divine fiends array that the celestial capital emperor had left behind. It was known as the number 1 emperor array in the divine world. Rumble. With Ling Xiao as the leader, the 30 heavenly masters were like 30 brilliant suns, exuding a mighty and terrifying aura. The 100,000 sage legion spread out and surrounded the ancestral land of the Chinese. In the void, the auras of the experts intertwined. Their sage aura filled the air and surged like a vast ocean. It instantly alarmed the people in the ancestral land of the Chinese. "It's Ling Xiao!" someone exclaimed in surprise. In the ancestral land of the Chinese, many Chinese experts looked indifferent, and their faces were filled with anger. Ling Xiao had really killed his way into the ancestral land of the Chinese? Many experts from the 5 Elements Celestial Sect, the Heavenly Curse Sect, and the Spacetime Heavenly Sect also appeared in the ancestral land of the Chinese. Their faces were gloomy and their eyes were filled with hatred and killing intent. If it were not for Ling Xiao, how could they have fled to the Chinese like stray dogs and even lost their sect? All of this was caused by Ling Xiao. "Ling Xiao, how dare you offend the Chinese? Are you tired of living?" An extremely cold voice sounded. Rumble. In the celestial capital realm, a group of figures with terrifying auras appeared. The leader was a young man in a purple robe. He looked heroic, and his eyes were cold and indifferent. His entire body was filled with killing intent as he stared at Ling Xiao. End of chapter. Chapter 2862. Hua Tianchong. Ling Xiao was also slightly stunned. He did not expect the leader of the Hua clan to be Hua Tianchong. Moreover, Hua Tianchong's cultivation had already broken through to the heavenly master realm. Moreover, the weapon in Hua Tianchong's hand was the symbol of the Hua clan's patriarch, the supreme divine fiend flag. A few days ago, Hua Tianchong was only at the supreme divine king realm. However, he had now broken through 2 realms and directly broke through to the heavenly master realm. It seemed that the Hua clan had also exhausted a huge amount of resources to forcefully push Hua Tianchong to the heavenly master realm. "Hua Tianchong, we meet again. The Hua clan is so powerful that the 3 immortal holy lands are competing to rely on you. Are you all prepared to fight to the death with me?" Ling Xiao smiled faintly with a calm expression. However, his words were extremely harsh in the ears of Hua Tianchong and the people of the 3 immortal holy lands. It was as if he was mocking them, causing their faces to instantly turn gloomy. Ling Xiao, you have killed many experts of the Hua clan and several immortal holy lands. You must seek revenge for the smallest grievance, causing the human clan to suffer a huge loss. Now you are so aggressive. Do you really think that the Hua clan is afraid of you? What kind of God's chosen one are you? I think you are the scum of the human clan. Everyone has the right to kill you. Hua Tianchong said coldly. He hated Ling Xiao because his father, the previous patriarch of the Hua clan, had died in Ling Xiao's hands. Moreover, his old ancestor was also captured by Ling Xiao. He did not know whether he was alive or not. That's right. Ling Xiao, if you know what's good for you, quickly retreat. Do you want the demon clan to laugh at the internal strife of the human clan? A heavenly master, old ancestor of the 5 elements, celestial sect, also sneered. You are still used to standing on the moral high ground to criticize others when you are about to die. How hypocritical. Today, all of you have gathered together. It saves me the trouble of going to each of you one by one. I can kill all of you in one fell swoop. Ling Xiao sighed softly. The murderous intent in his voice made everyone's heart tremble involuntarily. Arrogant. Ling Xiao, you have many experts under your command. But do you dare to break into the 12 Supreme Divine Fiend formation? If all of you were to enter the grand formation of the 12 Divine Wraith, then all of you would be buried within it in an instant. I advise you to get lost quickly. Otherwise, when you die later, there will be no one to collect your corpse. Hua Tianchong said coldly. He desperately hoped that Ling Xiao would be able to barge into the Great 12 Divine Wraith formation, so he was even trying to goad him. He was full of confidence in the Great 12 Divine Wraith formation. This was a supreme imperial formation that had killed even a great emperor before. It was known as the number 1 imperial formation in the divine realm. He did not think that Ling Xiao would be able to survive the 12 Divine Wraith formation. A bunch of cowards. Do you only know how to rely on the might of the monarch formation? Come out if you have the guts. Even without the great Lord Ling Xiao, your grandfather can slaughter all of you. The white dragon horse beneath Ling Xiao laughed coldly. Its eyes were filled with arrogance and defiance. That's right. The Chinese are the descendants of the great Emperor Tiandu. Now they have become a bunch of cowards, hiding in the monarch formation and not daring to fight. If the great Emperor Tiandu was still alive, I'm afraid he would be angered to death by you unfilial descendants. The old goat sneered and said, Grandson of the Chinese, your grandfather Yi Liangchen is here. Don't you want to kill me? Your grandfather is standing right here. Come out and fight with me if you have the guts. Do you believe that your grandfather can slaughter all of the Chinese elites alone? Yap Liangchen also stepped out and taunted arrogantly. The white dragon horse, the old goat, and Yi Liangchen, these 3 old rascals, came out and talked nonsense. Instantly, the Chinese were so angry that their bodies trembled and they shouted loudly. Their eyes were filled with anger. I'm so angry. These bastards. I can't wait to pull out their tendons and skin them. And their souls will be sealed in the netherworld forever. Do you really think that the Chinese are easy to bully? Patriarch, let me fight. I want to kill these 3 bastards. Yi Liangchen killed the genius of the Chinese. He deserves to die. Patriarch, I request to fight. Among the Chinese, everyone was filled with righteous indignation. They were so angry that they shouted loudly. Their eyes were filled with rage and killing intent. They couldn't wait to rush out and kill the old goat, the white dragon horse, and Yi Liangchen. Everyone, don't be rash. This is their provocation. They want to provoke us to fight. Although Hua Tianchong's eyes were filled with anger, he still suppressed the killing intent in his heart and said. He knew that without the 12 divine beings' wraith formation, even if the 4 superpowers joined forces, they would not be a match for Ling Xiao and his subordinates. Ling Xiao's strength was too terrifying. Ling Xiao, who had the combat strength of an imperial emperor, could be restrained by 5 people. Among the entire Chinese, no one was a match for him. Ling Xiao, didn't you say that you want to annihilate the entire sect? The Chinese and the 3 immortal sanctuaries are right here. Kill your way in if you dare. I'd like to see if you can break the 12 divine beings' wraith formation. Hua Tianchong stared at Ling Xiao and said coldly. At this moment, Outside the ancestral land of the Chinese, many experts from the divine world had gathered. Everyone was looking at Ling Xiao, wanting to see how he would react. After all, this was the number one emperor formation in the divine world, the 12 divine beings wraith formation. It was a peerless formation that had once killed great emperors and imperial emperors. Even if Ling Xiao were to barge in recklessly, he would most likely die. However, Ling Xiao had said that he wanted to annihilate the entire sect. Now that he had entered the Daoyuo territory and besieged the ancestral land of the Chinese, if he couldn't break the 12 divine beings wraith formation, he would have to retreat in the end. Demon Lord, I'm willing to explore the formation. The 8-pole king suddenly stood out and cupped his hands at Ling Xiao. He had the spatial talent, and his understanding of the spatial Tao had reached an extremely profound level. At this moment, facing the 12 divine beings wraith formation, a hint of competitiveness appeared in his heart. Demon Lord, I'm willing to go as well. At this moment, an Aishang also stood out and said seriously. Her beauty was unparalleled in her generation. Demon Lord, I'm willing to go. The heavenly venerables under Ling Xiao's command stood out and wanted to enter the 12 divine beings wraith formation to check out the situation. They all felt the danger of the 12 divine beings wraith formation and didn't want Ling Xiao to be in danger. Therefore, they all wanted to explore the formation for Ling Xiao. Although you are strong, you will be killed immediately after entering the 12 divine beings wraith formation. Therefore, it's better for me to do it personally. Let me try this legendary number 1 emperor formation in the divine world. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and rejected everyone's good intentions. A strong fighting spirit surged in his eyes. Blazing divine light rose around him as he strode toward the ancestral land of the Chinese. Peak. Chapter 2863. In the ancestral land of the Chinese, the 12 immemorial sacred mountains were millions of feet tall. At this moment, they were emitting blazing rays of light. Black baleful aura filled the air and intertwined to form a terrifying array. The 12 divine beings formation was created by Emperor Tiandu and had once killed a great emperor. Its power was unparalleled. Under the suppression of the 12 divine beings formation, it was extremely terrifying. This was the foundation of the Chinese. No matter when, as long as the 12 divine beings formation existed, the Chinese would be immortal. Although Emperor Tiandu was not controlling the 12 divine beings formation and could unleash the supreme power that could kill a great emperor, it was still a piece of cake for it to kill an imperial emperor. Seeing Ling Xiao walking towards the ancestral land of the Chinese, Hua Tianchong and the others sneered. They really didn't know if they should say that Ling Xiao's courage was commendable, or that he was ignorant and fearless. When Ling Xiao entered the array, he would have to face the terrifying attack of the 12 divine beings formation. By then, no matter how strong Ling Xiao's physical body was, he would be torn apart. Even if Ling Xiao had a supreme emperor weapon, how long could he last in the 12 divine beings formation? Rumble. Ling Xiao's aura rose and purple light surged. Every step he took shook the heavens and earth as he walked towards the array. The 12 divine beings formation was one of the strongest treasures of the Chinese. If one wanted to kill his way into the Chinese, he had to break this supreme emperor formation. Ling Xiao did not want all his subordinates to rush into the emperor formation. It was meaningless and would only cause a large number of casualties. Therefore, he chose to break the array alone. Everyone was looking at Ling Xiao. They wanted to see if he could break the 12 divine beings formation. All eyes were on him. Rumble. Ling Xiao stepped into the void of the array formation as the sky was filled with thunder and lightning. Buzz. The 12 immemorial sacred mountains trembled slightly. In an instant, blazing rays of light bloomed and black mist rose. The vast array began to tremble violently. Ling Xiao entered the range of the 12 divine beings formation of the terminus. Immediately, the black air around him surged. Bolts of chaotic lightning intertwined with a terrifying killing aura that enveloped him. Ling Xiao narrowed his eyes and immediately felt the surging killing intent from all directions. It was as if it could completely shatter the world around him. The Great 12 Divine Fiends formation was known as the number 1 Emperor formation in the God realm. It was said that not only could it condense the true body of Emperor Tiandu, but it also contained primal chaos divine lightning that could split heaven and earth apart and destroy everything. At this moment, Ling Xiao seemed to be in the midst of chaos. Earth, water, wind, and fire surged around him in an incomparably chaotic manner. Blazing light intertwined and wrapped around his body. Rumble! Ling Xiao punched out, and purple divine light bloomed. The unparalleled fist instantly shattered all the terrifying light beams around him. He leaped up and moved through the vast void of the formation. He wanted to find the weakness of the formation and the life gate. Even Ling Xiao had to admit that the great formation of the 12 divine beings' wraith was indeed extremely terrifying. Even he felt an intense threat from it. You're courting death. Even an imperial emperor would die without a doubt. Do you really think that you can break the great formation of the 12 divine beings' wraith? Hua Tianchong sneered, and his eyes were filled with disdain. Ling Xiao has already fallen into the trap. What should we do next? A heavenly venerable old ancestor of the 5 elements celestial sect looked at Hua Tianchong and asked, "What should we do? He's courting death. Of course, I'll fulfill his wish. Next, let him have a taste of the primal chaos divine lightning and the power of Emperor Tiandu." Hua Tianchong said indifferently. Rumble! Light flashed in his hand, and the heavenly fiend's flag split into 12. The 12 black flags fluttered in the air, and terrifying lightning intertwined around them. In an instant, they landed on the 12 immemorial divine mountains. A vast and terrifying aura erupted. It was as vast as the sea, surging violently. The 12 heavenly fiends' flags fluttered in the wind, and blazing primal chaos divine lightning burst out from them, enveloping Ling Xiao. Crack! The primal chaos divine lightning was the lightning that could split the sky. It was intertwined with destruction and vitality. It was mysterious and unfathomable. In an instant, it blasted on one of Ling Xiao's arms. The flesh on Ling Xiao's arm disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. Only his bones were left, emitting a purple radiance. What a terrifying primal chaos divine lightning! Ling Xiao exclaimed. His primal chaos immortal body was extremely powerful, and it was even tougher than an imperial emperor's body. However, it could not withstand the attack of the primal chaos divine lightning. Only his bones, which not only contained the immortal substance, were transformed from the primal chaos treasure. Therefore, he could withstand such destructive power. Swoosh! 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 Ling Xiao traversed the void, and his speed was as fast as lightning. He constantly dodged the primal chaos divine lightning that descended from all directions. At the same time, his fist was like a dragon. Purple divine light bloomed, and chaotic mist lingered around. The epic fist seemed to be able to split the sky and earth. It constantly collided with the primal chaos divine lightning, and blasted the destructive light beams that were surging from all directions. However, the primal chaos divine lightning became more and more intense. In the end, the primal chaos divine lightning streaked across the void and gathered together. It was like a vast sea of lightning that was about to drown Ling Xiao completely. Rumble! At the same time, the 12 celestial divine slaughter flags emitted a blazing light at the same time. Vast extreme emperor's aura burst forth. Rays of divine light intertwined and finally formed a figure with a terrifying aura in the void. The figure seemed to be an ancient great emperor, who had awakened from the primordial age. He exuded a peerless and invincible aura. Although one could not see his face clearly, the vast extreme emperor's aura seemed to be the embodiment of the great Tao. It could suppress the heavens and make people tremble. That's the real body of Emperor Tiandu? Someone exclaimed in a trembling voice. The reason why the 12 divine fiends formation was so terrifying was that even without Emperor Tiandu controlling it, as long as the divine fiend's flag was present, it could form Emperor Tiandu's true body, and unleash the power of an emperor to destroy everything. No one had expected the Chinese to be so fierce that they could even form the real body of Emperor Tiandu. Even if the 12 celestial divine slaughter formation was suppressed by the celestial divine slaughter flags, it would take countless years of accumulated origin energy to form the real body of Emperor Tiandu. It seemed like they wanted to kill Ling Xiao completely. Ling Xiao is dead meat. He can't withstand the primal chaos divine lightning, let alone the real body of Emperor Tiandu. The heavenly venerate ancestors of the five elements celestial sect, the heavenly curse sect, and the spacetime heavenly sect looked at Ling Xiao coldly. End of chapter. Chapter 2864. The aura exuded by the Emperor Tiandu's real body made them tremble. They couldn't even think of resisting. Not to mention Ling Xiao, who was in the 12 divine beings' wraith array. No matter how strong Ling Xiao was, how could he block an attack from the Emperor Tiandu's real body? The Emperor Tiandu's real body? A bright light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes, and his expression instantly became extremely solemn. This was the most terrifying power of the 12 divine beings' wraith array. It gathered all the power of the array, and used the Emperor Tiandu's divine being's wraith flag as a guide to form the Emperor Tiandu's real body and destroy everything. Ling Xiao could feel the gaze of Emperor Tiandu's true body landing on him. It contained a monstrous killing intent that locked onto him. So what if it's the Emperor Tiandu's real body? I'd like to see if you can kill me. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a hint of madness as his fighting spirit soared to the heavens. Boom, boom, boom. Blazing purple qi rose from his body and spread across 30,000 miles. The power of the primordial immortal body had been completely awakened. Under Ling Xiao's control, the prison steel, time compass, and 10,000 demons flag appeared in the sky and released a mighty Supreme Emperor's aura. Using these three Supreme Emperor weapons at the same time was Ling Xiao's limit. However, he knew that he had to take on this attack. Rumble. The Emperor Tiandu's real body faced Ling Xiao and slammed his palm down. The black palm print looked ethereal and mysterious, but it was like a waterfall. It contained a turbulent and unpredictable power as it slammed into the prison steel. Bang! A muffled sound rang out in the void. Millions of rays of light shot out from the heavenly monarch's body, causing the void to tremble violently. But in the end, the heavenly monarch was still sent flying by the heavenly monarch's true body. The time compass was surrounded by the endless power of time. A vast river of time ran through the past, present, and future, forming a mysterious time boundary. However, when the Emperor Tiandu's real body slammed his palm down, the time boundary shook violently and exploded into a dazzling rain of light. In the end, Ling Xiao, who was holding the 10,000 demon banner, was completely exposed to the true body of Emperor Tiandu. Rumble. The 10,000 demon banner trembled violently, and divine chains of order appeared one after another. Dazzling runes intertwined with each other, and chaotic light gushed out. On the 10,000 demon banner, hundreds of millions of phantoms of ancient divine beasts appeared. They roared and fought with each other. It was a boundless and ancient scene. However, in the middle of the hundreds of millions of divine beasts, there was an invincible figure that could swallow the world and sweep the heavens. That figure exuded a domineering, mysterious, and majestic aura that looked down on the world. It was like the 10,000 demon sovereign master, accepting the worship of billions of divine beasts. At this moment, as if stimulated by the aura of Emperor Tiandu's true body, the figure suddenly raised his head. His eyes seemed to pierce through the endless space and time, containing the power of life and death. With a loud bang, he collided with Emperor Tiandu's true body. Roar! 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 In an instant, it was as if hundreds of millions of divine beasts were roaring at the same time. That terrifying figure made everyone tremble. It was deafening. The myriad demon banner emitted a boundless light, and 360 dazzling stars emerged from it. In an instant, they formed an incomparably terrifying formation. The 360 supreme stars exuded an immortal aura. On each supreme star, there was a peerless divine beast overseeing it. Their auras were extremely terrifying. Beams of light shot out, intertwining with destructive fluctuations. In an instant, they pierced through Emperor Tiandu's true body. Rumble. In the 12 capital heaven divine fiends array, divine light surged, and a dazzling galaxy bloomed, causing heaven and earth to tremble violently. With Ling Xiao as the center, the 10,000 demon banner shone with a mysterious light. The 360 supreme stars formed the power of Zhou-Tian, forming a vast array. Zhou-Tian star array. The aura around Ling Xiao was terrifying. It was as if he had merged with the figure of the 10,000 demon sovereign master, completely controlling the Zhou Tian star array. The number 1 emperor array in the divine world? Let's see if it can block my Zhou Tian star array. Ling Xiao sneered, and his eyes were filled with cold killing intent. What? Zhou Tian star array? Hua Tiancheng's body trembled, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. Zhou Tian star array was known as the number 1 emperor array in the divine world. The origin of Zhou Tian star array was incomparably ancient. Legend had it that it was created by the demon sovereign of the divine world. It contained an unparalleled power that was terrifying and could destroy everything. In the past, Emperor Tian Du was inspired by the Zhou Tian star array. In the end, he created the 12 capital heaven divine fiends array. These 2 peerless emperor arrays were like a battle of fate. Now, they had appeared at the same time. Rumble. Above the 9 heavens, it was as if 360 bright stars had lit up. Beams of bright light shone down, connecting the heavens and earth, forming a strange resonance with the 10,000 demon banner. Although the 12 capital heaven divine fiends array was powerful, the unparalleled power that erupted from the Zhou Tian star array still firmly suppressed the 12 capital heaven divine fiends array. The battle between the 2 peerless emperor arrays was like a battle between 2 emperors, and it set off a monstrous aura. The surrounding void was annihilated, and chaotic fog filled the air. Earth, water, wind, and fire intertwined, as if to destroy this world and return everything to chaos. Ling Xiao held the 10,000 demon banner, and used it to activate the power of the 360 supreme stars in Zhou Tian. He summoned the spirits of 360 ancient peerless divine beasts, and set up the Zhou Tian star array. The 12 capital heaven divine fiends array could no longer do anything to Ling Xiao. However, Ling Xiao was also amazed. The 12 capital heaven divine fiends array was indeed terrifying. If he did not hold the 10,000 demon banner and set up the Zhou Tian star array, even if he had 3 supreme emperor weapons, he would have died under the real body of Emperor Tian Du now. With the 2 peerless emperor arrays, the power of the 12 capital heaven divine fiends array was completely restrained by the Zhou Tian star array. The ancestral land of the Chinese was instantly exposed to Ling Xiao. Damn it! How could you set up the Zhou Tian star array? The complete Zhou Tian star array has been lost for a long time. How could you? Hua Tiancheng was trembling all over. His eyes were filled with shock and anger as he pointed at Ling Xiao and roared. Everyone from the 5 elements celestial sect, the space-time heavenly sect, and the heavenly curse sect turned pale instantly. They had never thought that Ling Xiao would break the 12 capital heaven divine fiends array in such a way. It could not be said that he had broken the array. It was just that Ling Xiao had set up the Zhou Tian star array inside the 12 capital heaven divine fiends array. The collision of the 2 emperor arrays, and the intertwining of the Supreme Emperor aura temporarily sealed the power of the 12 capital heaven divine fiends array. The Chinese and the 3 immortal sanctuaries lost the barrier of the 12 capital heaven divine fiends array, and were completely exposed to Ling Xiao. End of chapter. Chapter 2865. The 12 capital heaven divine wraith array was broken? Everyone stared blankly at the scene in front of them. They were completely stunned. After all, the 12 capital heaven divine wraith array was known as the number 1 emperor array in the divine world. It was created by Emperor Tiandu and could condense the true body of Emperor Tiandu. It had slaughtered great emperors and imperial emperors. It had left behind many legends in the divine world. Although Ling Xiao had been unimpeded in the 9 heavens punishment array, and even destroyed the 9 imperial gates, no one thought that Ling Xiao could break the 12 capital heaven divine wraith array. Everyone even thought that if Ling Xiao really led his subordinates into the 12 capital heaven divine wraith array, they might be wiped out. However, they did not expect Ling Xiao to use such a method to break the 12 capital heaven divine wraith array. The Zhou Tian star array is known as the number 1 emperor array in the demon world. Legend has it that it was created by the demon monarch. Ling Xiao was known as the Lord of Demons. Could it be that he has inherited the demon monarch's legacy? It's very likely. I remember that the demon monarch's ultimate emperor weapon is the 10,000 demons banner, right? That's a supreme treasure that can suppress the fate of the demon world. Could it be that Ling Xiao has the 10,000 demons banner? 10,000 Demons Banner? No wonder he could set up the Zhoutian Star Array. The 10,000 Demons Banner is the core of the Zhoutian Star Array. The Chinese are in danger now. The power of the 12 Capital Heaven Divine Wraith Array has been broken. There is no longer any obstacle in front of Ling Xiao. Could it be that the bloodline of Emperor Tiandu is really going to be wiped out today? Everyone trembled, and their hearts were in their mouths. They could not believe what was happening in front of them. Hua Tianchong and the people from the 3 immortal Holy Lands were extremely pale. Their eyes involuntarily revealed a look of panic. Break! Hua Tianchong roared crazily. Blazing light rose around his body. He wanted to activate the Divine Fiend flag and activate the 12 Divine Fiend formation to break the Zhoutian Star formation. However, with the suppression of the 10,000 Demon Banner, the Zhoutian Star formation was able to continuously draw in the power of the stars in Zhoutian. Together with the marks of the 360 divine beasts, an extremely terrifying power erupted and completely restrained the 12 divine beings killing formation. Chinese 5 Elements Heaven Sect, Heavenly Curse Sect, and Spacetime Heavenly Gate, from today onwards, all of you will be erased from the God realm. Ling Xiao said indifferently. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. Everyone listen up. Charge into the ancestral land of the Chinese and kill all the overlords of the Chinese and the 3 immortal holy lands. Ling Xiao's cold voice was like thunder, rumbling in the void. Yes, Lord of Demons. Many of the overlords under Ling Xiao's command responded at the same time. Their voices were in unison and burst out mightily, causing everyone's expression to change drastically. 30 heavenly masters and 100,000 sages erupted with a monstrous fighting spirit at the same time. Their eyes fell on the Chinese with unparalleled sharpness. Ling Xiao, do you really think that you can kill us without the 12 divine beings killing formation? The foundation of the Chinese is not something you can imagine. Today I will kill all of you. Hua Tianchong's eyes revealed a trace of madness as he stared at Ling Xiao and roared. Ling Xiao, you destroyed the 9 imperial gates and killed so many overlords of the human clan. You are a sinner of the human clan. Today, we will enforce justice on behalf of the heavens. The heavenly master old ancestor of the 5 elements heaven sect also roared. Ling Xiao colluded with the demon clan and killed the innocent. He has completely betrayed the human clan. Everyone has the right to kill him. Ling Xiao, today is the day you die. The heavenly master old ancestors of the heavenly curse sect and the spacetime heavenly gate also roared. The ferocity in their hearts was also stimulated. The 12 divine beings killing formation was blocked, leaving them with no way out. All of them began to go crazy. Rumble. With Hua Tianchong as the leader, a total of 25 heavenly masters from the Chinese, the 5 elements saint sect, the heavenly curse sect, and the spacetime heavenly gate soared into the sky, blooming with dazzling brilliance. This was already the most powerful foundation and strength of the 4 superpowers. The 25 heavenly master old ancestors joined forces to attack, each of their eyes revealing an incomparably resolute killing intent. Tiandu Army attack. 5 Elements Army attack. Heavenly Curse Guards attack. Spacetime Guards attack. As the 4 roars resounded, dazzling light bloomed in the void. 4 incomparably vast void gates emerged, and figures with incomparably terrifying auras rushed out one after another. Similar to the heavenly punishment army of the 9-fold imperial obelisk, the Chinese and the 3 immortal saint lands also had their own legions. These were all the loyal soldiers they had cultivated. They were their foundation and the most powerful force that suppressed the fate of their clans and sects. Now that they were facing Ling Xiao, they did not hold back at all and summoned all of them. The Tiandu army of the Chinese had 5,000 saint kings, 5,000 great sages, and 10,000 sages, a total of 20,000 people. The 5 Elements army of the 5 Elements Heaven sect had 3,000 saint kings, 5,000 great sages, and 5,000 sages, a total of 13,000 people. The heavenly curse guards of the heavenly curse sect were all saint kings, a total of 4,000 saint kings. The spacetime guards of the spacetime heavenly gate were all saint kings, a total of 4,000 saint kings. The experts in the 4 legions were all exuding towering killing intent. They had experienced hundreds of battles, and were the most loyal people. Moreover, they had been refined by a secret technique, so they were not afraid of death. Each of them had an immortal body, and their strength was incomparably terrifying. These were the forces that the four superpowers had accumulated over hundreds of millions of years. It was a powerful force that they would never use until the very last moment. Now, in the face of the powerful threat of Ling Xiao, they chose to give it their all and fight with their backs to the river. In terms of Saint Kings, the four superpowers combined had more Saint Kings than the Saint Army under Ling Xiao. Comparing the strength of the two sides, it seemed that they were evenly matched. It was foreseeable that if there was really an earth-shattering battle, whether it was the four superpowers or the many experts under Ling Xiao, they would definitely suffer heavy casualties. Ling Xiao, today, even if our four superpowers are annihilated, we will drag you and all your subordinates down with us. Hua Tianchong was completely crazy as he stared at Ling Xiao and growled. Be buried with us? With just you guys? Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His smile looked incomparably cold, and his eyes were incomparably deep, containing a blazing killing intent. The forces of the four superpowers were indeed astonishing. Ling Xiao could also feel that there was a kind of power that made his heart palpitate in the depths of the Chinese. That might be the ultimate power of the Chinese. Was it related to Emperor Tiandu? Ling Xiao guessed in his heart, but he did not have the slightest hesitation or intention to retreat. So what if the Chinese still had a trump card? In this battle, whether it was the Chinese or the three immortal holy lands, they had to be completely annihilated. Apex. Chapter 2866. Rumble. Above the void, it was as if two torrents had collided with each other. In an instant, a dazzling light burst out. The experts under Ling Xiao's command charged into the ancestral land of the Chinese. Their eyes were cold and murderous as they charged into the ancestral land of the Chinese. The experts from the Hua clan, the Five Elements Celestial sect, the Heavenly Curse sect, and the Spacetime Heavenly sect were naturally unwilling to wait for their deaths. Hence, they went all out. The gap between the heavenly masters and sages between the two sides was not large. Hence, when they collided, an earth-shattering bloody battle instantly broke out. Sages fell one after another. Blazing divine light filled the air and blood rained down. It was like an Azura battlefield. It looked extremely terrifying. Ling Xiao's eyes were indifferent as he charged towards Hua Tianchong. Crack! The heavenly punishment saber appeared in his palm. It contained boundless power, and was surrounded by purple lightning. It was extremely domineering and sharp as it slashed towards Hua Tianchong. Ling Xiao. Hua Tianchong's face was extremely ugly. His eyes were filled with anger, killing intent and fear. He knew how terrifying Ling Xiao was. Even if he had broken through to the Heavenly Master Realm, he would not be Ling Xiao's opponent in a real battle. Boom! Hua Tianchong's legs emitted a dazzling light. The surrounding void trembled slightly. In the next moment, he disappeared into the void and reappeared tens of thousands of feet away. The pair of worn-out boots on his legs emitted a strange light, as if it could penetrate the void. It was extremely strange. It actually broke the lock of the heavenly punishment saber on him. An extreme Dao Emperor weapon? No. It's an incomplete extreme Dao Emperor weapon. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as his gaze fell on Hua Tianchong's legs. The pair of worn-out boots were black in color and looked tattered. They exuded an ancient aura, and when Hua Tianchong activated them, they exuded a faint emperor's aura. It was incomparably strange. Ling Xiao discovered that the pair of boots was actually an incomplete extreme Dao Emperor weapon. Moreover, it seemed to have lost more than half of its power. However, such an incomplete extreme Dao Emperor weapon could still escape the lock of the heavenly punishment saber. This aroused Ling Xiao's interest in this pair of boots. Ling Xiao, don't be so arrogant. Hua Tianchong's face was incomparably cold, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. Rumble! A blazing light rose from his palms, and in an instant, two pitch-black puppets flew out from his sleeves. They were 6 feet tall and exuded ancient fluctuations. There were many saber and sword marks on them. The two puppets were like stone men. They were extremely rough, and their faces were blurry. However, they exuded an extremely ferocious aura. The moment they appeared, They opened their blood-red eyes and pounced towards Ling Xiao. An Empyrean realm puppet? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. The two black puppets both exploded with the combat strength of a celestial venerable. Moreover, they seemed to be unafraid of death and their bodies were incomparably sturdy. However, even though the two puppets were powerful, they were still a far cry from the Lightning Emperor statue that Ling Xiao had encountered in the 9-layered Imperial Gate. Crack! Blazing saber light swept across the void. Ling Xiao slashed down with the heavenly punishment saber in his hand. The saber light was incomparably sharp, and it instantly slashed the two black puppets. The two black puppets trembled violently, and then they were sent flying by Ling Xiao's saber. Hua Tianchong, is this the foundation of your Hua clan? If that's the case, then you can go to hell. Ling Xiao said coldly. His voice was like a thunderclap that exploded in the void. Although the Empyrean realm puppets looked incomparably sturdy, they couldn't pose any threat to Ling Xiao. They were sent flying by Ling Xiao as soon as they pounced on him. Rumble. Blazing lightning rose from Ling Xiao's body as he charged towards Hua Tianchong. The surrounding void was trembling violently. A peerless killing intent bloomed and completely locked onto Hua Tianchong. Hua Tianchong's face couldn't help but change drastically. Ling Xiao, you forced me to do this. Hua Tianchong said sternly. There was a trace of incomparable madness in his eyes. Rumble. In an instant he soared into the sky. His body trembled violently. All of a sudden, blazing blood light gushed out from the pores all over his body. Endless blood chi surged as if the blood in his body was completely boiling. Unfilial descendant Hua Tianchong. I only used the blood in my body to summon the true body of my ancestor to kill those who offend my Hua clan. Hua Tianchong's incomparably shrill voice resounded in the void, causing the surrounding sky to tremble violently. Rumble. As soon as his voice fell, blazing divine light bloomed in an instant. Endless blood chi gathered in the void. Heaven and earth trembled, and the wind and clouds surged. An ancient and terrifying wave spread out from the center of the Hua clan. Bang! 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 It was like the sound of a heartbeat. Every heartbeat was incomparably clear, reverberating between heaven and earth. Everyone couldn't help but feel their blood boiling. They were terrified. One by one, they looked up and stared at the sky above the Hua clan's ancestral land with a shocked expression. The boundless blood light converged, and the purple divine light condensed into an incomparably mysterious figure. The figure didn't look clear and was somewhat blurry, but it exuded an invincible aura that could devour the 8 desolates and sweep through the heavens. This is the true body of Emperor Tiandu. Ling Xiao's body trembled, and there was a trace of surprise in his eyes. The figure in the void looked somewhat similar to the true body of Emperor Tiandu in the 12 divine beings killing formation, but it wasn't exactly the same. The figure in front of him was more ancient, and its aura was more terrifying and powerful. Although it was similar to the true body of Emperor Tiandu, there seemed to be an essential difference. Could there be another great emperor expert among the Hua clan? Ling Xiao's heart trembled, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. However, it was too late to think because the purple figure had already locked onto him. The aura was even more terrifying than the true body of Emperor Tiandu. It was as if an ancient great emperor had descended. Just the aura alone made people feel that they couldn't resist it. Ling Xiao felt that the surrounding void and the great Tao of the heavens were rejecting him. He became incomparably small, like a small boat in a storm, as if he would be completely destroyed at any time. Although Ling Xiao's face was a little pale, his eyes became unprecedentedly bright and sharp, and an incomparably terrifying aura erupted from his body. Kill! Ling Xiao suddenly roared, and the blazing divine light around him soared into the sky like a bolt of lightning. A fierce fist mark burst out mightily. Epics were created and destroyed. Chaos filled the air, and the surrounding void was destroyed. The vast fist print seemed to be able to destroy all life, and completely enveloped the figure in the void. End of chapter. Chapter 2867. That purple figure was like an ancient great emperor that had been revived. That vast emperor's aura was too terrifying, as if it could suppress everything. However, in the face of such a figure, Ling Xiao still chose to take the initiative to attack. He had to make a move. Otherwise, when that figure completely erupted, the peerless emperor's aura would erupt. At that time, it would probably be able to kill more than half of the experts under Ling Xiao's command. Therefore, no matter what the origin of that purple figure was, Ling Xiao still chose to make a move. Rumble. The epic fist erupted. It contained Ling Xiao's Tao, as well as the great spirit of the epic reincarnation. This fist seemed to have a life of its own. It bloomed with the most dazzling light, illuminating Ling Xiao's eyes. Boom. The purple figure was incomparably indifferent. It only slapped down a palm that contained unfathomable power and destructive aura. In an instant, it seemed as if the world had been turned upside down, colliding with Ling Xiao's epic fist. A terrifying divine light erupted in the void, causing the surrounding sky to tremble violently. Ling Xiao's body trembled as if he had collided with an indestructible immemorial divine mountain. He was directly sent flying. Puff. Ling Xiao suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. His aura instantly weakened. His face was incomparably pale. His internal organs had suffered unimaginable damage, as if they were about to collapse at any time. If it weren't for Ling Xiao's incomparably sturdy body that contained immortal matter, he was afraid that his entire body would have fallen apart under this blow. Ling Xiao, go to hell. Hua Tiancheng's eyes were filled with incomparable resentment. His entire body exuded a blazing purple light, and he actually merged with the purple figure. The surging killing intent once again locked onto Ling Xiao. With such a terrifying power, Hua Tiancheng became incomparably intoxicated, even though he knew that he had to pay a great price and couldn't maintain it for too long. At this moment, Hua Tiancheng seemed to have become an ancient great emperor that swept across the heavens in thousands of races. His words were the law of the world, and he was invincible. He hated Ling Xiao to the extreme, and there was only one thought in his mind, and that was to kill Ling Xiao. You've been weakened by my attack. It seems like this is just a one-time eruption, unlike the true body of Emperor Tiandu in the Great 12 Heavenly Divine Wraith formation, which can be strengthened by the power of the formation. Ling Xiao wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, his eyes bright. Although he was severely injured from this attack, he had also managed to probe out some things. That purple figure looked more like a trace of power left behind by the great emperor. It could only be activated by the bloodline in Hua Tiancheng's body. Once the power was unleashed, although it was unparalleled, it was quickly consumed. It's not the real body of Emperor Tian. Could it be the mark left by the ancient emperor? But why did Hua Tiancheng say that it was the descent of the Chinese ancestors? Ling Xiao thought to himself. His mind spun rapidly as he tried to guess the origin of the purple figure. Rumble. At this moment, Hua Tiancheng and the purple figure had merged into one. Blazing divine light rose from his body, and he unleashed the most terrifying power as he charged towards Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's body gushed out a vast amount of life origin, and the injuries in his body healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. He held the heavenly punishment saber in his hand, and at the same time, activated the prison steel and time compass, and charged towards Ling Xiao. The three Supreme Emperor weapons unleashed a vast amount of Supreme Emperor aura, and they intertwined with each other, containing an incomparably terrifying energy fluctuation. Boom, boom, boom. Every time Ling Xiao and Hua Tiancheng collided, it was like the end of the world. Terrifying divine light fluctuations erupted, and it was as if the sun had exploded. The galaxy had turned upside down, and heaven and earth had collapsed. All kinds of mysterious scenes appeared. Everyone felt goosebumps all over their bodies, and their eyes were filled with incomparable horror. The mark of the great emperor that Hua Tiancheng has merged with doesn't seem to belong to Emperor Tiandu. Whose mark is it? Someone exclaimed. He had seen some clues, and his eyes were filled with incomparable shock. The Hua clan was a supreme sovereign clan, and they were dazzling. However, their ancestor was only Emperor Tiandu, and there was no second great emperor. However, the mark of the great emperor that Hua Tiancheng had activated with his bloodline was different from the aura of Emperor Tiandu. Many people had noticed it. It seems like there are still many secrets in the Hua clan that we don't know. However, it seems that even if Hua Tiancheng has merged with the mark of the great emperor, he's just putting up a desperate struggle. Ling Xiao's strength is too terrifying. It's only a matter of time before Hua Tianchong is defeated, someone said slowly. At this point, no one thought that Ling Xiao would be defeated by the Hua clan. This chosen one had bloomed with peerless brilliance, and had created one miracle after another. From today onwards, would the Hua clan and the three immortal sacred grounds be completely erased like the 9-layered imperial obelisk? Rumble. Above the void, Ling Xiao and Hua Tianchong were fighting fiercely. Although Hua Tianchong had merged with the mark of the great emperor, and his strength was monstrous, he had been suppressing Ling Xiao in the beginning. He had even beaten Ling Xiao into a bloody mess, and only a skeleton was left. However, Hua Tianchong still failed to kill Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao relied on the primordial immortal body and 3 powerful extreme Dao Emperor weapons to fight against Hua Tianchong. In the end, he managed to hold on. Damn it! How can his vitality be so strong? Hua Tianchong was a little flustered. His eyes were filled with disbelief, and he could even feel the strength in his body draining away. If this continued, it wouldn't be long before the powerful strength given by the mark of the great emperor disappeared completely. Kill! Ling Xiao's eyes were incomparably cold as he suddenly roared. Blazing light rose from his body. The 3 extreme Dao Emperor weapons, the Time Compass, the Heaven's Might Prison Steel, and the Heavenly Punishment Saber, struck across the sky and suppressed Hua Tianchong. The 3 extreme Dao Emperor weapons seemed to have completely awakened. The void was distorted, and incomparably terrifying figures vaguely appeared. Hua Tianchong's body trembled violently, and the strength in his body drained away rapidly. His eyes were filled with incomparable horror as he coughed out blood and was sent flying. Boom! Ling Xiao's figure was like a bolt of lightning. His speed was extremely fast, and he appeared behind Hua Tianchong directly. Then he grabbed Hua Tianchong's arms, and an unparalleled divine force erupted from his body. He suddenly tore them apart. Blood rained down in the void, and Hua Tianchong was directly torn apart by Ling Xiao. A purple mark that was as bright as the sun appeared. It seemed to contain an incomparably mysterious figure. It trembled slightly in the void, as if it wanted to fly out. Ling Xiao did not hesitate. He opened his mouth and activated the sky-devouring secret technique. The mighty aura enveloped the mark of the great emperor, before he swallowed it into his stomach. Boom! Like a sudden clap of thunder, Ling Xiao's body instantly gushed out billions of dazzling celestial lights. Auspicious qi rose into the air, and thousands of rays of multicolored light shone. A mysterious celestial sound spread out, and all sorts of mysterious phenomena appeared around Ling Xiao. It's him! Ling Xiao's body trembled. His eyes were filled with radiance, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. Peak. Chapter 2868. His Highness of the Immortal Race. Ling Xiao did not expect that the figure he saw in the great emperor's imprint after devouring it was the immortal race's highness. Ling Xiao was still wondering where Hua Tianchong got the great emperor's imprint, but he did not expect it to be related to the immortal race. Has the Chinese been infiltrated by the immortal race? Ling Xiao's body trembled and his eyes became extremely serious. This matter was even more important than his intention to exterminate the Chinese. There was no doubt that the immortal race was powerful. They were the first epic lord and had been standing strong for countless years. They had accumulated a lot of resources. Even the demon race was far inferior to the immortal race. The great emperor's imprint of the immortal race had appeared in Hua Tianchong's body, and the immortal race's highness's shadow. Did this mean that the immortal race had begun to set up a trap in the divine world? Rumble. Blazing divine light rose in the void and blood rained down. Hua Tianchong was torn apart by Ling Xiao, and even his primordial spirit was devoured by Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's body emitted dazzling immortal light. It was ethereal and mysterious. The dazzling light fell from the 9 heavens and poured into his body, making him feel like he was going to fly into the sky. Everyone's face was extremely pale, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. Hua Tianchong, who had the great emperor's imprint, still died in Ling Xiao's hands? Looking at Ling Xiao's monstrous aura, the 3 powerful extreme Dao Emperor weapons, and the panicked faces of the Chinese and the 3 immortal sacred grounds, everyone's heart sank. Today, the Chinese and the three immortal sacred grounds would probably be exterminated. Rumble. The Great Emperor's imprint contained a trace of the Great Emperor's origin energy. It was extremely terrifying. With Ling Zhao's cultivation base, it was impossible for him to refine the Great Emperor's imprint. However, Ling Xiao had the wordless heavenly book, so the Great Emperor's imprint was devoured by the wordless heavenly book. Ling Xiao closed his eyes. As he devoured Hua Tiancheng's primordial spirit, he began to extract Hua Tiancheng's memories. He wanted to know why Hua Tiancheng was related to the immortal race's highness. Ling Xiao could faintly see that in Hua Tiancheng's memories, within the endless primal chaos space, there was a mysterious immortal palace. Hua Tiancheng was kneeling in front of the immortal race's majesty, and the immortal race's majesty was saying something. However, before Ling Xiao could hear what the immortal highness had to say, the immortal highness suddenly raised his head. A pair of bright and mysterious eyes seemed to pierce through the layers of space, and met Ling Xiao's gaze. There was a hint of mockery in his eyes. Crack. Hua Tiancheng's memory instantly exploded into powder. Ling Xiao's expression was somewhat cold. Although he didn't discover any more secrets, the actions of the immortal race's royal highness allowed Ling Xiao to see that Hua Tiancheng was indeed a pawn of the immortal race's royal highness. It seems that we have to kill all the Chinese. We can't let the immortal race stir up trouble in the God realm. Killing intent flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes as he thought to himself. At this moment, the faces of the Chinese, the Five Elements Heaven sect, the Heavenly Curse sect, and the Space-Time Heavenly sect turned pale. Their eyes were filled with panic. They felt a strong sense of threat from Ling Xiao. Who could stop Ling Xiao now? Not to mention, the Chinese and the three immortal sacred grounds only had 25 heavenly venerables. They were already at a disadvantage. Now that Ling Xiao was unrestrained, he was like a ferocious tiger that had come out of the mountains. How long could the 25 heavenly venerables withstand Ling Xiao's attacks? Could it be that the heavens want us to die? Everyone from the four superforces felt an incomparable sadness and despair in their hearts. The Chinese even began to regret. If they had known that Ling Xiao was so domineering and powerful, they would have agreed to Ling Xiao's conditions and lent him the heavenly capital scripture. So what? It was much better than the current situation where their clans were wiped out. Rumble. At this moment, a vast and ethereal aura suddenly appeared above the 9 heavens. It was as if there was an immemorial sacred mountain in the void, exuding an ancient and boundless aura. A white-robed figure stood on top of the immemorial sacred mountain. His aura was ethereal, like an emperor descending to the mortal world. It was a spirited and handsome middle-aged man. He looked like a scholar of the mortal world. His appearance was strange, and his gaze was deep and gentle. It was as if it contained boundless space and time, and the mysterious scene of the chaos being split apart appeared. When he appeared in the void, everyone could not help but tremble. They suddenly felt as if they had been seen through from head to toe. Beside the white-robed man stood an acquaintance of Ling Xiao's, Jiang Yuyang. However, at this moment, Ling Xiao's gaze was completely attracted by the white-robed middle-aged man. Senior Kunwu? Ling Xiao's body trembled, and a trace of incomparable surprise appeared in his eyes. Who else could it be other than the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain? Previously, Ling Xiao had heard from Jiang Yuyang that the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain had left the realm of the gods to attend to important matters. He felt extremely regretful. He did not expect the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain to come here today. To Ling Xiao, the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain was both a teacher and a friend. He was Ling Xiao's guide on the Great Tao. Ling Xiao had always been extremely respectful to the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain. It's Lord Kunwu. Greetings, Lord Kunwu. Someone exclaimed. Immediately, an extremely excited and fanatical look of worship appeared in his eyes. Lord Kunwu, the supreme expert of the realm of the gods, the protector of the human race, Lord Kunwu? I never thought that I would be able to see Lord Kunwu in my lifetime. Greetings, Lord Kunwu. Greetings, Lord Kunwu. The arrival of the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain immediately caused everyone to tremble. Their eyes were filled with endless worship as they bowed to pay their respects. Many young people were at a loss. They didn't know who Lord Kunwu was, and why he had such great prestige. However, as the older generation explained, many of them gradually understood. Their eyes were full of respect. Lord Kunwu, Lord Kunwu, Lord Kunwu, Lord Kunwu. The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain was a legend in the realm of the gods. Legend had it that the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain was a figure from the beginning of the human race. He was even more ancient than the 9 emperors of the human race. Even the Heavenly Emperor had once studied under the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain. The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain did not belong to any power. However, he was the protector of the human race. During the 9 emperors of the human race, the 9 emperors dominated the ancient times and led the human race to glory. The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain was not famous. However, after the 9 emperors of the human race, the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain was the true protector of the human race. He had resolved the crisis of the human race many times, saved the human race from disaster, and repelled the invasion of the demon race several times. His strength was unparalleled and unfathomable. Some people said that the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain's cultivation had reached the peak of the Emperor realm. He was only a step away from becoming a great emperor. Chapter 2869. As for why the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain was unable to break through to the great emperor realm, there were many different theories, but no one knew the reason. However, the older generation were all fanatical admirers of the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain. However, this was the first time the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain appeared in front of everyone. Previously, the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain had never shown his true form in public. Everyone was extremely excited, and the experts of the Chinese and the 3 immortal Holy Lands looked as though they had seen their savior. Their eyes were filled with excitement. Lord Kunwu, save us. Ling Xiao colluded with the monster race and killed our experts. He has already destroyed the Imperial Obelisk, and now he wants to destroy the Chinese and the 3 immortal Holy Lands. He's going to destroy the pillars of the human race. Lord Kunwu, please kill Ling Xiao. Lord Kunwu, if Ling Xiao doesn't die, the human race in the divine realm will never have peace. The heavenly venerables of the Chinese and the 3 immortal Holy Lands bowed to the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain with pleading eyes. At the same time, they looked at Ling Xiao coldly. Ling Xiao would definitely die if the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain arrived. The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain was not a great emperor, but he was even more powerful than one. They did not think that Ling Xiao would be a match for the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain. The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain valued the human race greatly, and had always been the guardian of the human race. He would definitely not allow Ling Xiao to behave atrociously here. A strange look appeared in everyone's eyes. Did the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain really come because Ling Xiao attacked the ancestral land of the Chinese, and wanted to stop him? If that was the case, Ling Xiao would be in danger. Emperor. The white dragon horse trembled when it saw the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain. Its eyes were filled with excitement, and it instantly turned into a bolt of lightning, and shot toward the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain. The white dragon horse was extremely excited, and its eyes were filled with admiration. It rushed to the front of the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain, and rubbed its head against the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain's arm intimately. Emperor, I finally get to see you again. The white dragon horse's voice was choked with emotions. It was like a wanderer who had left home for a long time, and was excited to see his parents again. Little White, I haven't seen you for a few hundred years. I didn't expect you to have grown to such a level. Not bad, not bad. The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain stroked the white dragon horse's head and smiled. Everyone was slightly taken aback. The white dragon horse was actually an old friend of the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain, and they seemed to have a close relationship. What about Ling Xiao? Everyone's eyes fell on Ling Xiao, and some guesses surfaced in their hearts. Ling Xiao's expression was calm as he took a deep breath. He stepped through the air and arrived before the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain. He bowed respectfully and said, Junior Ling Xiao greets Senior Kunwu. It's been more than 200 years since we last met, but Senior is still as elegant as ever. Ling Xiao's words made everyone's heart sink, especially the Chinese and the people from the 3 immortal Holy Lands. They looked as though their parents had died. Their faces were extremely ugly, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. Ling Xiao is actually an old friend of the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain? How is this possible? Ling Xiao, you did well. You did better than I expected. The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain said with a smile, and there was a hint of emotion in his eyes. More than 200 years ago, Ling Xiao was not even in the divine realm. He was only in the mortal realm. When the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain met Ling Xiao, he gave Ling Xiao a lot of pointers. However, even the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain did not expect Ling Xiao to grow to such a level in just 200 years. Ling Xiao was indeed the chosen one. He was right about Ling Xiao. Thank you, Senior. May I know why you're here today? Is it because of my attack on the Chinese and the 3 immortal holy lands? Ling Xiao asked curiously. That's right. I'm indeed here for that. Ling Xiao, why don't you let me handle the feud between you and the 4 forces? The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain nodded. All right. I'll leave it to you. Ling Xiao nodded without hesitation. He believed that the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain would not be here for no reason, and he also believed that the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain would give him a fair explanation. All right. The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain smiled faintly with a hint of admiration in his eyes. He slowly turned around and looked at the people of the Chinese and the 3 immortal holy lands. His gaze was extremely gentle, but it made the people of the 4 forces nervous. Even the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain was an old friend of Ling Xiao. Could it be that they really had no way out today? However, with the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain's magnanimity and benevolence, he should leave them with a slim chance of survival, right? I didn't expect that Hua Tianchong, the young genius of the Chinese and known as the Heavenly King, would actually collude with the immortal race. I'm really disappointed. The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain revealed a trace of disappointment in his eyes as he spoke slowly. The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain's words were like a sudden clap of thunder that instantly shocked everyone. Their eyes were filled with incomparable shock. Hua Tianchong colluded with the immortal race? This news was too explosive. For a moment, everyone was so shocked that they couldn't react. What was the immortal race? Although many people felt unfamiliar with the immortal race, as more and more foreign races invaded the heavenly realm, many ancient secrets were revealed. Many people gradually understood the other races in the myriad worlds. The immortal race was known as a race that was more powerful and ancient than the devil race. They were the first lord of the era. However, for the human race, those who were not of the same race were bound to have a different heart. Whether it was the immortal race or the devil race, they were all foreign races. If they colluded with the foreign races and harmed the human race, they would be traitors to the human race. Hua Tianchong betrayed the human race? The Chinese were the descendants of Emperor Tiandu. How could they do such a thing? However, the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain seemed to have no intention of explaining to everyone at all. His gaze was incomparably deep as it fell on the people of the Chinese and the 3 immortal holy lands. Now, I suspect that there's a spy of the immortal race among you. So next, I will use the secret technique to illuminate the heavens. Don't resist. Otherwise, you will either die or be injured. The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain said indifferently. The people of the Chinese and the 3 immortal holy lands were in an uproar. All of them had a panicked look in their eyes. Not only did the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain not stand up for them, but he even suspected that there was a spy of the immortal race among them, and wanted to investigate them. This made them feel as if their parents had died, and their faces were incomparably ugly. Lord Kunwu, you must be mistaken. Hua Tianchong is the current patriarch of the Chinese. How could he collude with the immortal race? The Chinese are the descendants of Emperor Tiandu. No matter what, we would never betray the human race. A Chinese heavenly venerable ancestor cupped his hands and bowed to the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain. It's precisely because you are the descendants of Emperor Tiandu that some of you colluded with the immortal race. That's even more disappointing. Whether it's a mistake or not, we'll know after the investigation. The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain said indifferently, showing an unprecedented strength. The attitude of the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain was that he would rather kill the wrong person than let them go. I didn't expect that the immortal race would make Lord Kunwu so cautious. Ling Xiao was also shocked. He knew that the immortal race was powerful, but he didn't expect the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain to be so cautious, as if he was extremely afraid of the immortal race. End of this chapter. Chapter 2870. Although the experts of the Hua clan and the three immortal Holy Lands looked terrible, they could only agree in the end. The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain had unimaginable prestige in the immortal world, so they did not dare to resist. Rumble. The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain radiated a dazzling light, and a mysterious chaotic mist spread out. There seemed to be a mysterious scene of the birth and death of the world in his eyes. An immeasurable light rose up. It was pure and mysterious like flowing moonlight. It bloomed above the ancestral land of the Hua clan, enveloping the Hua clan and the people of the three immortal Holy Lands. The light seemed to be a mysterious force at the beginning of the world. It could penetrate time and space and illuminate everything. It was extremely powerful. After being illuminated by the light, everyone trembled slightly. They seemed to have become transparent, and no secrets could be hidden. All of them were exposed to the eyes of the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain. What a powerful heaven-illuminating technique. Ling Xiao thought to himself as a bright light flashed in his eyes. The heaven-illuminating technique was mysterious and unfathomable. It contained a kind of origin power that Ling Xiao could not understand. It seemed to be able to see through everything, and any power appeared clearly. Moreover, the heaven-illuminating technique was cast on so many people at the same time, which made Ling Xiao feel that the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain was unfathomable. Are there really spies of the immortal race among the Hua clan and the three immortal Holy Lands? It's very likely. Even Lord Kunwu has confirmed that Hua Tianchong became so powerful just now. I'm afraid it's because of the imprint of the immortal race's great emperor. If there are spies of the immortal race among the Hua clan, then the Hua clan is really a disgrace to the Emperor of Tiandu. Everyone secretly guessed in their hearts. If Ling Xiao pointed out this matter, perhaps everyone would be skeptical. However, Lord Kunwu said that Hua Tianchong was colluding with the immortal race. Moreover, it was very likely that there were spies of the immortal race among the Hua clan and the three immortal Holy Lands. Almost everyone believed it. The prestige of the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain was too high. It was so high that no matter what he said, no one would doubt it. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At this moment, a few figures among the Hua clan and the three immortal Holy Lands suddenly burst out with dazzling immortal light. Propitious chi rose and runes intertwined. Each of them burst out a supreme power, and were about to escape. Are there really spies from the immortals? Someone exclaimed, his eyes filled with disbelief. No one had expected that the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain would actually find a Chinese spy among the people of the Hua clan and the three immortal sacred grounds after using the heaven-illuminating technique. Almost all of those figures were at the Saint King realm, and their strength was unparalleled. However, at this moment, their bodies were shrouded in celestial light, and a strange energy was erupting from them. Under the heaven-illuminating technique of the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain, those figures could no longer conceal the immortal energy in their bodies, and were instantly exposed. They all knew how terrifying the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain was, so they didn't even think about it, and wanted to teleport away. You'd better stay here. The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain sighed softly. Boom. With a wave of his sleeve, a resplendent light bloomed. There seemed to be another universe within his sleeve. It was like a vast world, and an incomparably powerful devouring force erupted, sucking those figures into his sleeve. The many experts of the Hua clan and the three immortal sacred grounds looked extremely gloomy at this moment, and their eyes were filled with panic. They had really been infiltrated by the immortals. Although there were only a few of them, almost all of them were at the level of supreme elders. They were powerful and influential, and they had access to the secrets of the various immortal sacred grounds. Even such people had become spies of the immortals, which showed how terrifying the immortals were. Only a few spies of the immortals? It seems that the immortals are still extremely cautious. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he muttered to himself softly. Originally, he thought that the Hua clan and the three immortal sacred grounds might have been infiltrated by the immortals. After all, Hua Tianchong had become a subordinate of the immortals. However, it seemed that Hua Tianchong hadn't had time to take action, or the immortals were more cautious, so only a few people had become spies of the immortals. The Hua clan, the Five Elements Sacred Sect, the Space-Time Heavenly Sect, and the Heavenly Curse sect have even been infiltrated by the Immortals. How sad. The Emperor of Kuan-Wu Mountain sighed softly. The people of the Hua clan and the 3 immortal sacred grounds panicked. The 4 heavenly venerable ancestors, who were the leaders, bowed deeply to the Emperor of Kuan-Wu Mountain and said, "Lord Kuan-Wu, please understand. We also don't know how the Immortals managed to infiltrate us. We will never betray the human clan. Please be lenient." They were completely flustered. Their eyes were filled with panic, and their bodies were trembling slightly. The Immortals had infiltrated all the supreme elders of the 4 superpowers. The 4 superpowers couldn't absolve themselves from the blame. If Lord Kuan-Wu was really furious, the 4 superpowers wouldn't be able to bear it. As the pillars of the human clan, you didn't think about protecting the human clan. Instead, you repeatedly coveted Ling Xiao and targeted Ling Xiao and the War God Temple. Your crimes are unforgivable. However, since it wasn't easy for you to cultivate, you can be spared from death, but you can't escape punishment. All the experts of the Sage Realm and above from the Hua clan, the Space-Time Heavenly Sect, the 5 Elements Heavenly Sect, and the Heavenly Curse sect will be incorporated into the Demon Suppression Army to support the extraterritorial battlefield. The 4 superpowers will seal your mountains for 100 years to reflect on your mistakes. You are not allowed to roam the realm of the gods as you wish. In addition, you have to lend Ling Xiao the Heavenly Capital Scripture, Void Scripture, 5 Elements Scripture, and Heavenly Curse Scripture. Do you accept this? The Emperor of Kuan-Wu Mountain's voice boomed like thunder in the void. Instantly, the faces of the people from the 4 superpowers turned ugly. Their eyes were filled with fear. All the experts of the Sage Realm and above were going to be incorporated into the Demon Suppression Army. This was a devastating blow to them. The Demon Suppression Army was a powerful army formed to fight against the Demon Clan. They had been stationed in the extraterritorial battlefield and weren't allowed to return to the realm of the gods. The Demon Suppression Army had suffered heavy casualties, and the United States had to replenish their strength from the realm of the gods for almost 100 years. Now that the Emperor of Kuan-Wu Mountain wanted all the experts of the Sage Realm and above from the 4 superpowers to be incorporated into the Demon Suppression Army, it was a drastic move. From now on, although the 4 superpowers were still preserved, they wouldn't be able to pose any threat to Ling Xiao and the War God Temple. Compared to this, sealing the mountain and even lending the 4 flawless Imperial Sutras to Ling Xiao was not a big deal at all. If you agree, the 3 Holy Lands and the 3 Holy Lands will still have a chance. The Chinese and the 3 Immortal Holy Lands still have a chance to survive. If you don't agree, then I won't interfere in today's matter. The Emperor of Kuan-Wu Mountain said calmly. The faces of the Chinese and the 3 Holy Lands turned ashen. Their eyes were filled with despair, and their hearts sank. If the Emperor of Kuan-Wu Mountain didn't interfere, with Ling Xiao's powerful strength, he would definitely kill them all. The 4 superpowers would be reduced to ashes in an instant. The Emperor of Kuan-Wu Mountain was telling them that they only had one choice. End of chapter. Chapter 2871. Everyone's expression changed as they looked at the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain in awe. One had to admit that the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain was too ruthless. All the powerhouses above the Saint Realm from the Chinese and the 3 Immortal Saint Lands had been recruited into the Demon Suppression Army. This meant that more than half of the 4 superforces were crippled. They could no longer pose a threat to Ling Xiao and the Combat God Temple. No one knew how long it would take for them to recover to their peak strength. But on the other hand, this was the best choice. Compared to annihilating their sects and clans, this was considered merciful to the 4 superpowers. Most importantly, they would be able to preserve their orthodoxy. In the end, the Chinese and the 3 Immortal Sacred Grounds chose to submit. Under Jiang Yuyang's supervision, all the Sage Realm experts from the 4 superpowers gathered together and prepared to head to the extraterritorial battlefield to be recruited into the Demon Suppression Army. The complete copies of the 4 flawless Imperial Sutras were also handed over to Ling Xiao. Whoosh! The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain waved his sleeves again, and all the experts above the Sage Stage from the 4 superforces, which numbered in the tens of thousands, were sucked into his sleeves. Ling Xiao, are you satisfied with my decision? The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain smiled faintly at Ling Xiao. I'll follow your decision, senior. I have no objections. Ling Xiao said seriously. He could roughly guess the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain's intention. To Ling Xiao, annihilating the sects and clans was the best way to eliminate all future troubles. However, from the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain's point of view, the most important thing was to unite the human race as much as possible and preserve the strength of the human race to face the invasion of the foreign races. The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain's decision relieved Ling Xiao of his worries. Naturally, Ling Xiao had no objections. That's good. Come with me. There's a change in the situation. Jiang Yuyang is going to undergo the heavenly tribulation today. You need to protect him first. There's something important I need you to do later. The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain nodded and transmitted his voice to Ling Xiao. He's going to undergo the heavenly tribulation today? If that's the case, please wait for a moment. I'll go and settle down. Ling Xiao's eyes glinted as he nodded his head and said. Previously, he had heard from Jiang Yuyang that the heavenly tribulation would take a few months to prepare. However, he did not expect it to come so quickly. Moreover, even the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain came personally. It seemed that something important must have happened. Ling Xiao used the heaven's might to open up the void passageway, allowing Enai Shang and the rest to lead the Saint army back to the demon realm temporarily. As for the old goat and Taoist Wu Liang, they stayed behind. Together with the white dragon horse, they were prepared to explore the divine world. Ling Xiao naturally did not stop them. The rest of the emperors of the sacred heavenly tribulation. After Xiao Emperor of Kunwu Mountain, Jiang Yuyang, Emperor, and Emperor of Kunwu Jiang Yuyang. Looking at the backs of Ling Xiao and the Kunwu Mountain's sovereign emperor, everyone's body trembled violently. All of them revealed different expressions. No one had expected that the Chinese race and the three immortal holy lands would be saved in such a way. However, after this battle, all the experts above the Sage Realm from the four superpowers were incorporated into the Demon Suppression Army. There were no longer any Sage Realm experts in the sect. Furthermore, under the orders of the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain, the sect was sealed off for 100 years. Who knew what it would be like 100 years later? Everyone knew that the three immortal sacred grounds were likely completely weakened. It would be extremely difficult for them to recover their peak strength. However, today's battle also shocked everyone. The news of the battle started from the ancestral land of the Hua clan and spread to the divine world, causing another shock in the divine world. Ling Xiao's name once again spread throughout the god realm. However, all of this had nothing to do with Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao followed the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain and Jiang Yuyang out of the Chinese ancestral land and headed for the extraterritorial battlefield. Senior Kunwu, what happened? Ling Xiao asked curiously. Right now, I'm just guessing what happened. I can't tell you for the time being. After Jiang Yuyang transcends his tribulation, everything will become clear. Jiang Yuyang will also undergo the heavenly tribulation today. At that time, only you and Slovenly will be able to protect him. I will also be restrained by others and will not be able to help you. So everything will depend on you. The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain said slowly with an unprecedentedly solemn look in his eyes. Heavenly Venerable Yuyang, why are you undergoing the heavenly tribulation in advance? Ling Xiao looked at Jiang Yuyang and asked. Because the news of my heavenly tribulation has already been spread. The longer it drags on, the more disadvantageous it will be. So, I might as well choose to undergo the heavenly tribulation before they react. Although the preparation is a little rushed, it's enough. Jiang Yuyang smiled faintly. Someone spread the news? Who is it? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed sharply. He knew how important Jiang Yuyang was. This supreme expert who cultivated the great path of the human emperor was born for 9 lifetimes, just to complete this heavenly tribulation. Logically speaking, the news of Jiang Yuyang's heavenly tribulation should be very secretive. Who would be so crazy as to spread the news of Jiang Yuyang's heavenly tribulation? I'm still investigating who it is. However, this person deserves to die. How dare he spread such a big news to the foreign races? Yu Yang's heavenly tribulation will be even more dangerous. Ling Xiao, are you afraid? The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain looked at Ling Xiao and said slowly, Afraid? What do I have to be afraid of? Heavenly Venerable Yu Yang's heavenly tribulation this time is also an opportunity for me to observe. Those foreign races who dare to attack Heavenly Venerable Yu Yang are probably tired of living. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as a trace of cold killing intent surged in his eyes. The human race was already in a precarious situation. He didn't expect that someone would be so crazy as to spread the news of Jiang Yuyang's heavenly tribulation to the foreign races. Moreover, they hid it so well that even the Emperor of Kunwu Mountain didn't discover it. Ling Zhao's heart also surged with anger. No matter who leaked the news, they deserved to die. He had already promised to protect Jiang Yuyang, so he naturally wouldn't go back on his word. Ling Xiao also wanted to see who would come to stop Jiang Yuyang's heavenly tribulation this time. That's right. They're tired of living, but they're also extremely daring. If they can kill Heavenly Venerable Yu Yang, I'm afraid they won't let go of this opportunity. Ling Xiao sneered. Ling Xiao, I'm afraid this time is far more dangerous than you think. I'll stop those Supreme Emperors for you, but you'll have to face the other dangers alone. I hope Yu Yang can successfully transcend the heavenly tribulation this time, and break through to the Emperor realm. The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain said slowly, I'll have to trouble you, young friend Ling. Jiang Yuyang also said seriously to Ling Xiao, Don't worry, Heavenly Venerable Yu Yang. Since I've promised, I'll definitely do it. Ling Xiao replied with a smile, but there was a blazing sharpness in his eyes. End of chapter. The lightning in the surroundings was formed by the Great Tao laws. The Great Tao lightning formed by the interweaving of the Great Tao laws in this chaotic domain had unfathomable power, and was incomparably terrifying. If he were to trigger the descent of the myriad Daros during his tribulation, even if someone were to sense that something was amiss, it would be very difficult for them to discover it immediately. Yu Yang, this is the place I've chosen for you to transcend your tribulation. Next, I will take action to block the spying of some of the supreme experts in the universe. However, if there are any fish that escapes the net, then you can only rely on yourselves. The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain said slowly, Thank you, sir. I understand. Jiang Yuyang said with a nod. Then prepare for your tribulation. The Emperor of Kunwu Mountain said before taking a step forward and disappearing into the void. Jiang Yuyang looked at Ling Xiao and the sloppy monarch and said slowly, I'll have to trouble the two of you to protect me from now on. I have a feeling that the tribulation transcendence this time won't be so peaceful. Don't worry. This time, no one can stop you from attaining the human emperor realm. However, the key to protecting you this time is still my young friend Ling Xiao. The sloppy monarch said with a smile. Me? Ling Xiao was a little surprised. That's right. My young friend Ling Xiao, I didn't expect that the Demon Emperor's 10,000 Demon Banner would fall into your hands. The 10,000 Demon Banner is the core of the Zhoutian stellar formation. I've been searching for it for countless years, but I couldn't find it. With the 10,000 Demon Banner, I'll personally preside over the Zhoutian stellar formation. Even if it's an Emperor expert, he'll die if he comes. The sloppy monarch's eyes lit up as he spoke. His eyes were filled with incomparable excitement. Senior, are you going to preside over the Zhoutian stellar formation? That's a good idea. Ling Xiao nodded and said with a smile. He had once heard Yi Liangchen boast that the sloppy monarch was known as the Formation Dao monarch. His attainments in the Formation Dao were unparalleled in the world. 200 years ago, it was the sloppy monarch who set up the Zhoutian stellar formation and blocked many experts from the various immortal sacred grounds. It could be seen that the sloppy monarch's attainments in the Zhoutian stellar formation were also very deep. This is the best place to set up the Zhoutian stellar formation. After the Zhoutian stellar formation is set up, it can guide the power of the stars in Zhoutian and illuminate the souls of billions of demons. It can erupt with destructive power. Even an emperor can forget about taking a step forward. The sloppy emperor said excitedly as he looked at the stars around him. His face was filled with confidence. Previously he was still a little worried. However, after the battle in the ancestral land of the Hua people, Ling Xiao's 10,000 Demons banner had set up the Zhou-Tian stellar formation and blocked the 12 divine beings' wraith formation of the Hua people. The sloppy monarch was much more confident after hearing this news. The Zhou-Tian stellar formation was known as the #1 emperor formation in the demon realm. It was naturally terrifying. If that's the case, I'll have to trouble Senior to set up the formation. The massive heavenly cycle stellar array could indeed unleash an even greater power here. When the time comes, Senior will preside over the formation while I hide in the formation and wait for an opportunity to kill the enemies. Ling Xiao smiled and took out the 10,000 Demons banner without hesitation and handed it to the sloppy monarch. Compared to using the formation to trap and kill the enemies, Ling Xiao preferred to rely on his own strength to kill the enemies. That's my intention too. Your combat strength is extraordinary, and you even have an extreme Dao Monarch weapon. In the Zhou-Tian stellar formation, you can even kill an Emperor Realm expert. I'd like to see if those reckless fools dare to come. The sloppy monarch sneered. Jiang Yuyang sat down on a mountain peak. His white robe fluttered in the wind, and his body exuded an ethereal and strange aura. Ling Xiao could feel that Jiang Yuyang was accumulating power. At the same time, the vast Tao of heaven and earth around him intertwined and formed a strange resonance with the surrounding void. Jiang Yuyang's aura was vast and unfathomable. Ling Xiao could even feel that Jiang Yuyang's aura was not something that a heavenly master could possess. Even the reincarnation master, who had just entered the emperor realm, was inferior to Jiang Yuyang. This peerless figure who had cultivated the human emperor's great way and had reincarnated 9 times was indeed extraordinary. However, the more this was the case, the more Ling Xiao could understand the seriousness of Jiang Yuyang's tribulation this time. Not only was the emperor tribulation terrifying, but the experts of the demon race and the Great Thousand World probably did not want such a peerless figure to appear in the human race. Rumble. The sloppy emperor held the 10,000 demon banner in his hand as he muttered under his breath. A vast and mysterious aura rippled from his body. In an instant, the stars in the sky swayed. The starlight was dazzling as it gathered in a mighty manner. The massive heavenly cycle stellar formation was slowly taking shape. P.S. I've not been in a good state for the past 2 days. The plot has been stuck and I can't write it. I'll adjust my state tomorrow and try to write more. End of chapter. Chapter 2873. The Zhou-Tian star formation was successfully set up. The sloppy emperor Lord hid in the dark with the 10,000 demon banner. Only Ling Xiao and Jiang Yuyang were left on this star. Rumble. Blazing lightning rose in the surroundings, and chaotic mist filled the air. Vast great Dao laws interweaved, forming mysterious runes, causing the place to become even more chaotic. Jiang Yuyang sat cross-legged on a mountain peak. His body seemed to be able to attract the stars in the sky, releasing a blazing and dazzling light. Ling Xiao could feel Jiang Yuyang's aura rising and merging with the surrounding heaven and earth, causing many of Jiang Yuyang's imprints to appear in the void. Jiang Yuyang was already on the verge of a breakthrough. Legend has it that the Emperor Tribulation is also known as the Quasi-Emperor Tribulation. If one wants to control the origin of the Great Tao, one must pass the test of the origin of the Great Tao. Therefore, it is also known as the Tribulation of the Heavenly Tao, the Tribulation of the Origin, and the Tribulation of the Inner Demon. Only after passing the 3 tribulations can one break through to the Emperor Realm. Ling Xiao thought to himself. Among the 3 tribulations, each one was more dangerous than the last. The slightest carelessness would cause one to turn into ashes. Although the Zhou-Tian star formation had been set up around him, Ling Xiao still did not relax at all. He was extremely vigilant as he observed the vast starry sky around him. Ling Xiao, Jiang Yuyang's Emperor Tribulation is about to arrive. This great tribulation might last for a few days. During this period of time, it's up to us. Suddenly, the sloppy Emperor Lord's voice entered Ling Xiao's ears. Ling Xiao's body trembled. He immediately saw 3 great Tao immortal flowers blooming above Jiang Yuyang's head. They were mysterious and sparkling, as if they were rooted in the great Tao and contained the vast secrets of heaven and earth. Rumble. A resplendent divine light shot into the sky from each of the three great Tao immortal flowers. It was vast and mighty, connecting the heavens and the sun. In an instant, the stars in the sky lost their color. The Emperor Tribulation has begun. Ling Zhao's heart trembled, and his gaze immediately became sharper. The three great Tao immortal flowers were Jiang Yuyang's essence, energy, and spirit. They began to guide the descent of the great Tao. This meant that he had begun to break through to the Emperor realm. Rumble. Above the 9 heavens, thunder rumbled and the heavens shook. Blazing lightning gathered and filled with chaotic colors. It was as if an incomparably terrifying sea of lightning had appeared. The sea of lightning covered the heavens and the earth, and it was blazing and resplendent. Moreover, various mysterious and unfathomable phenomena were formed within it, and it faintly seemed like an extremely ancient world had appeared. A world formed by lightning. At this moment, Ling Xiao could feel the majestic might of the heavens descending. The might of the great path intertwined and merged into the sea of thunder. It was nurturing an incomparably terrifying destructive force. Tribulation of the heavenly Tao. The so-called tribulation of the heavenly Tao was a test left behind by the heavenly Tao for living beings who wanted to break through. It was also a baptism of the heavenly Tao's will. Every single bolt of lightning was formed from the power of the heavens, and contained the power to destroy everything. It was incomparably terrifying. If one couldn't withstand it, they would instantly turn into ashes. Under the heavenly Tao tribulation, the slightest flaw could be fatal. Therefore, if Zhou Tian could not become one and condense his essence, energy, and spirit into a leakless true body, he would not be able to survive the heavenly Tao tribulation. Crack. Under Ling Zhao's gaze, a blazing bolt of lightning instantly connected the heavens and the earth and descended from the sea of thunder. The lightning tribulation that was like a heavenly pillar emitted a black light, causing the surrounding space to distort. Even the blazing lightning around the star was attracted over, forming a lethal domain. The first bolt of the heavenly Tao tribulation is actually comparable to an attack from an imperial emperor. I wonder how many heavenly Tao tribulations Senior Jiang Yuyang will attract. Ling Xiao exclaimed in his heart. The heavenly Tao tribulation was actually so terrifying. He wondered what the origin tribulation and the tribulation of the inner demon would be like. Rumble. Jiang Yuyang was instantly drowned by the black lightning. He did not block it and allowed the black lightning to flow throughout his body, causing his body to emit a blazing and dazzling light. Ling Xiao saw that behind Jiang Yuyang, chaotic light spewed out. Vaguely, an ancient figure wearing a high crown and a wide belt seemed to appear. Although it looked a little illusory, it emitted a mysterious aura that could enlighten all living beings. Jiang Yuyang had used his physical body to forcefully withstand the tribulation of the heavenly Tao, but his entire body was flawless. Not only was he not injured at all, he even seemed to have digested the tribulation thunder, causing his aura to become even stronger. The figure behind him also became more solid. Is that Senior Jiang Yuyang's great Tao of the human emperor? Ling Zhao's heart trembled slightly, and his eyes were filled with shock. That figure seemed to be a saint who had walked out of the human tribe's arduous journey. He also seemed to be the king who had created the human tribe's new era. Although his face was a little blurry, his eyes were filled with compassion for the state of the universe and the fate of mankind, as well as determination and courage. That was the embodiment of Jiang Yuyang's own Tao, and also the source of his power. Although it was illusory, it gave Ling Xiao an extremely strange feeling, as if he was facing an ancient emperor. Rumble. In the void, the vast sea of lightning seemed to boil, and a terrifying pressure descended, pressing down on Jiang Yuyang. At the same time, bolt after bolt of terrifying lightning pierced through the sky, piercing through the void, shattering everything as they crashed down on Jiang Yuyang. Jiang Yuyang sat cross-legged, his face solemn, and a faint smile on his lips. He vaguely resembled the figure behind him. He was enveloped by the lightning tribulation, and mysterious light spewed out from his body. The great Tao laws intertwined, and the vast heavenly might seemed to crush everything, but he was able to deal with it calmly. The lightning was formed from the heavenly Tao laws, not real lightning. It contained the destructive power of the heavenly Tao, but it could not cause any harm to Jiang Yuyang. Ling Xiao vaguely realized that the lightning was being absorbed and refined by the figure behind Jiang Yuyang, causing the figure to become more solid. Ling Xiao had a feeling that if that figure really became solid, there might be some unimaginable changes. Buzz. The mysterious sound of the great Tao sounded, like the chanting of ancient people, but also like the chanting of sages. Around the figure, billions of figures of the human race appeared, and at this moment, they were all worshipping the figure with incomparable fanaticism. And around the figure, mysterious scenes of the destruction of the heavens, the fall of gods and demons, and the bloodshed of the heavens appeared. Ling Xiao suddenly realized that the figure's originally blurry face was gradually becoming clearer, and it was extremely similar to Jiang Yuyang's. The human emperor's great Tao? Senior Jiang Yuyang really has great wisdom, great perseverance and great fortune. Ling Xiao exclaimed in his heart. Chapter 2874. With Ling Xiao's current cultivation realm, he could see that Jiang Yuyang was walking on an unprecedented path. He used the human tribe's destiny and belief as the foundation to achieve his own great path. This was different from the reincarnation master. The reincarnation great path that the reincarnation master walked was originally the path that the reincarnation emperor once walked. The reincarnation master was just a latecomer. The 3,000 great paths could be said to have been opened by the predecessors. Although it was easier for the successors to break through to the emperor realm by following the predecessors' path, they were destined to never surpass the predecessors if they didn't open their own path. The reason why the Sky Emperor was able to sweep across the universe, and even kill an emperor, was because he had walked on an unprecedented path, the Heavenly Emperor path. Jiang Yuyang was the same. He had walked on his own path, the Human Emperor path. Jiang Yuyang's Human Emperor path was originally the most likely person to become the 10th Emperor of the human tribe. Unfortunately, he has been reincarnated 9 times and missed the opportunity of the first 8 reincarnations. Although he has accumulated a lot of experience, the great calamity is coming and the human tribe's destiny will be weakened. Although he has made great progress, I'm afraid he won't be able to break through to the great emperor realm in this lifetime. The sloppy emperor's voice traveled into Ling Xiao's ears with a tinge of regret. That may not be the case. If the human tribe can survive this great calamity and become the epic master again, the human emperor path will be completed. Senior Jiang Yuyang's human sovereign's great Tao has reached perfection. He may have a chance to take a peek at the great emperor realm. Ling Xiao's eyes shone brightly as he spoke slowly. You're right. But it's too difficult. This epic tribulation is the most terrifying one in 108 epics. At that time, countless geniuses, kings, and even ancient emperors will be resurrected to fight for the only chance to transcend. The sloppy emperor sighed softly. Chance to transcend. Ling Xiao grasped the crux of the sloppy emperor's words and asked curiously. Don't ask me. I'm not too sure either. It should be related to the realm above the great emperor realm. Lord Kunwu might know a thing or two. The sloppy emperor said. The realm above the great emperor realm? Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a tinge of yearning. Great emperors were already the strongest in the myriad worlds. They were known to be invincible and immortal. It was very difficult to determine a victor between great emperors. Of course, the Heavenly Emperor, who could suppress and kill great emperors, was an exception. What was the realm above the great emperor? Perhaps he was truly immortal and indestructible? No matter what, Jiang Yuyang has walked the human sovereign great Tao. Even if he can't break through to the great emperor realm, as long as he steps into the imperial emperor realm, he can quickly reach the 9th heavenly layer and become an invincible imperial emperor, just like Lord Kunwu. At that time, the pressure on the human race will be greatly reduced. The sloppy monarch said slowly. His voice was filled with anticipation. Although the current human race was protected by the barrier of the god realm, danger still lurked everywhere. Once the great calamity of the epoch arrived and the myriad worlds completed their final integration, the human race would no longer be able to defend themselves. At that time, if the 3 great emperors of the demon race returned, how would the human race resist them? Not to mention, other than the demon race, there were also immortal race, monster race, and other alien race experts. There might be hidden great emperors. At that time, when the great emperors took action, the human race might be in danger of being exterminated. I understand. I hope this place can be hidden for a period of time. Ling Xiao nodded and said, I'm afraid it'll be difficult. Next, we have to be prepared for a great battle. Jiang Yuyang's heavenly tribulation is too loud. I'm afraid the demon race will find out soon. The sloppy monarch shook his head and said, Rumble. Jiang Yuyang had already passed through 50 bolts of heavenly tribulation. Although he looked safe and sound, his aura was more than 10 times stronger than before. The figure behind Jiang Yuyang, in particular, was like an ancient human sovereign descending into the world. It became more and more solid and exuded a majestic, ancient, and mysterious aura. With such a powerful aura, it was difficult for the chaotic lightning field around the planet to conceal it. It wouldn't be long before it was discovered by those foreign race powerhouses. Especially the demon race. The demon race knew Jiang Yuyang the best. They also didn't want Jiang Yuyang to break through the heavenly tribulation. Ling Xiao and the sloppy monarch had been on guard the entire time. They vigilantly observed everything around them. However, what made them feel slightly relieved was that after Jiang Yuyang had passed through 81 bolts of heavenly tribulation, he had completed the number of supremes. The heavenly tribulation was finally over. Rumble. Jiang Yuyang's entire body emitted a resplendent glow. He was like a floating immortal. His entire body emitted a vast heavenly might as if he had become a part of the heavenly Tao. He didn't seem to have changed, but his aura became more unfathomable. Especially his physical body. It began to become crystal clear and filled with an immortal luster. This was a sign that his physical body was transforming into the body of origin. Although it was only a preliminary transformation, it meant that Jiang Yuyang had one foot in the Imperial Emperor realm. Crack! Boundless chaotic light rose around Jiang Yuyang. In an instant, the chaos was split apart. It was as though a vast and ancient world had appeared, enveloping Jiang Yuyang within. In that ancient world, there was a great war between gods and demons. The mysterious scene of ferocious beasts filling the sky appeared. The human race wore beast skins and walked out of the primeval forest. They suffered hardships and became food for foreign races. From an incomparably miserable state, they began to work hard and gradually grew. Jiang Yuyang's entire body became incomparably illusory. It was as if he had entered that chaotic world. In the chaotic world, Jiang Yuyang became the human emperor of the human race. After comprehending the world, he comprehended a cultivation method. He taught all living beings of the human race, and led the human race to gradually become stronger. He killed gods and demons, slaughtered ferocious beasts, and chased away foreign races. He led the human race to win battle after battle, and won the opportunity for the human race to recuperate. He drilled wood to make fire, weaved cloth to make clothes, and cut wood to build nests. He passed down the human language and established the human language, causing the human race to know shame. He then comprehended the world and the truth of the great Tao. He led the human race from weakness to strength, from barbarism to civilization. The scene Ling Xiao saw seemed to be Jiang Yuyang's Tao, Jiang Yuyang's belief, Jiang Yuyang's persistence, and Jiang Yuyang's persistence. This was the human emperor's great Tao. It appeared incomparably clearly in front of Ling Xiao. This is the tribulation of origin. Ling Xiao's heart trembled. He guessed that Jiang Yuyang was currently transcending the tribulation of origin, and was immersed in the world of origin constructed by his human emperor's great Tao. This was a test of the great Tao's origin, and also a test of Jiang Yuyang's own Tao. Moreover, Ling Xiao finally understood why Jiang Yuyang only asked him and the sloppy emperor lord to protect him. Jiang Yuyang's human emperor's great Tao was clearly displayed in front of Ling Xiao and the sloppy emperor lord when he was transcending the tribulation of origin. If the two of them had any ulterior motives, they could completely destroy Jiang Yuyang with a single strike. This was also a heavy trust. Chapter 2875. Outer Space. A figure with a monstrous aura sat cross-legged on a sun, exuding endless demonic aura. Every time he breathed in the void, a vast amount of fire from the sun would be swallowed into his stomach. The sun flickered. After dozens of breaths, the sun gradually shrank. In the end, it flew directly into his mouth and disappeared completely. Such a powerful imperial emperor tribulation. It must be Jiang Yuyang's tribulation. Human emperor Great Tao? I'll kill you today. The figure suddenly opened his eyes, which were filled with bloodthirsty and cold-killing intent. Rumble. He instantly soared into the sky, with monstrous demonic aura surging around him. He took a step forward, broke through layers of void, and headed in the direction of Jiang Yuyang's tribulation. In the lonely starry sky, there was a floating continent, exuding a monstrous aura of death. Boom. The continent trembled violently. In an instant, a giant bronze coffin rushed out from the depths of the continent, exuding an ancient and mysterious fluctuation. Jiang Yuyang. Tribulation. Damn it. An obscure and cold sound wave came from the giant bronze coffin. The giant bronze coffin instantly soared into the sky, broke through layers of void, and left. On a planet shrouded in dazzling immortal light, there were mountains and valleys. Ancient trees towered into the sky, and auspicious steam rose. It was like a fairyland. An old man with white hair and beard sat cross-legged on the mountain peak. The sea of clouds in front of him was ethereal, mysterious and unfathomable. The old man looked like an immortal, and his aura was unfathomable. At this moment he suddenly opened his eyes, shooting out two terrifying beams of light like divine lamps. Human Emperor of the Human Clan? It can be used as the main ingredient of this cauldron of immortal pills. I can refine a Human Emperor immortal pill for His Highness. The old man whispered to himself. In the next moment, he held a horsetail whisk in his hand and rode a majestic white crane. He instantly rushed into the depths of the starry sky and disappeared. The divine realm was the focus of all the worlds in the universe. Although powerful people could not enter the divine realm, there were often fierce battles in the extraterritorial battlefield in the divine realm. Jiang Yuyang cultivated the human emperor's great Tao. Although he had yet to break through to the imperial emperor realm, his reputation was second only to the human race's imperial emperor of Kunwu Mountain. After knowing that Jiang Yuyang was about to pass the tribulation, many experts in the universe were monitoring the god realm, paying attention to Jiang Yuyang's every move. They didn't want such a person who cultivated the great Tao of the human emperor to successfully break through to the imperial emperor realm. Although Jiang Yuyang's tribulation was hidden, the commotion caused by his tribulation was too great. Even the lightning domain around him was unable to conceal it. In the end he was discovered. Rumble. The middle-aged man with monstrous demonic aura, the giant bronze coffin, and the white-haired old man simultaneously pierced through the void and appeared in the starry sky outside the god realm. Devil race, zombie race, and immortal race? Looks like you've really put in a lot of effort for our human Jiang Yuyang. A faint yet ethereal voice rang out. Rumble. Blazing divine light blossomed, shattering the void with a loud bang. An immemorial divine mountain connected the heavens and the sun. It was unknown how tall it was. It instantly blocked the three figures in front of it. The imperial emperor of Kunwu Mountain stood at the peak of Kunwu Mountain, his white robe fluttering in the wind. His expression was indifferent and ethereal. His aura was so powerful that the surrounding stars seemed insignificant. The imperial emperor of Kunwu Mountain? The middle-aged man from the devil race, the giant bronze coffin, and the old man from the immortal race exclaimed in unison. There was a hint of fear in their voices. If you retreat now, I can spare your lives. However, if you insist on coming forward, don't blame me for being impolite. The imperial emperor of Kunwu Mountain said indifferently. Impolite? Imperial emperor of Kunwu Mountain, you're indeed powerful. However, we're going to kill Jiang Yuyang today. You can't stop us. The middle-aged man from the devil race said coldly. Just the three of you? Perhaps it's not enough. The imperial emperor of Kunwu Mountain said indifferently. Imperial emperor of Kunwu Mountain, don't be so arrogant. We're going to kill Jiang Yuyang today. If you dare to stop us, we'll kill you as well. The voice from the giant bronze coffin was domineering and cold. Imperial Emperor of Kunwu Mountain, although you're powerful, can you stop all of us? the old man from the immortal race said with a smile. Swoosh. As if in response to his words, a figure with a terrifying aura suddenly appeared in the surrounding void. Cold killing intent surged out from the figure and locked onto the Imperial Emperor of Kunwu Mountain. Kunwu Mountain, I'm going to kill you today and avenge the humiliation from 1,000,000 years ago. An incomparably cold voice exploded in the void like a thunderclap. Rumble. It was as if another black hole had appeared, exuding a terrifying aura that could devour everything. A figure with black hair fluttering in the wind and cold eyes strolled out from the black hole. He held a black war spear in his hand and exuded a monstrous murderous aura. It was a young man in a black robe. As soon as he appeared in the void, his aura overpowered the other three. He was on par with the Imperial Emperor of Kunwu Mountain, and was even stronger. The black war spear in his hand exuded an extremely terrifying Emperor's aura, as if it could destroy everything. Demon Lord Chaos. A divine light flashed in the Imperial Emperor of Kunwu Mountain's eyes as his expression turned solemn. The Demon Lord Chaos of the demon race was an invincible demon lord of the demon race. His cultivation had reached the 9th heaven of the Imperial Emperor, and he was known as the strongest person below the 3 demon emperors. As soon as he appeared, he immediately exerted a great pressure, causing the 3 figures to lower their heads. It's not just the Demon Lord Chaos. I'm here too. Imperial Emperor of Kunwu Mountain. You won't be able to save Jiang Yuyang. A crisp laughter sounded. The chaotic mist in the void dispersed and a woman in a black dress stepped out. She looked extremely beautiful, but her eyes were filled with cold killing intent. Nether Queen. The Imperial Emperor of Kunwu Mountain said slowly as his eyes became extremely sharp. The Nether Queen of the Underworld was a peerless expert who was no weaker than the Demon Lord Chaos. She was also a 9th Heaven Imperial Emperor, and her strength was unfathomable. Now, the Demon Lord Chaos and the Nether Queen had come out together to stop the Imperial Emperor of Kunwu Mountain. Do you think you can stop me with just the 2 of you? The Imperial Emperor of Kunwu Mountain said indifferently. His expression was very calm as if he was not surprised at all. Hee, Imperial Emperor of Kunwu Mountain. We know that your combat strength is monstrous. You have supported the human race for hundreds of millions of years, and are the pillar of the human race. Although we can't kill you, it won't be a problem for us to trap you for a while. However, Jiang Yuyang will be in danger. The Nether Queen said with a smile as she walked towards the Imperial Emperor of Kunwu Mountain. She and the Demon Lord Chaos stood in front of each other while the 3 Imperial Emperors spread out in all directions. The 5 Imperial Emperors simultaneously blocked the Imperial Emperor of Kunwu Mountain. Chapter 2876. Rumble. The vast Emperor's aura emitted by the 5 Imperial Emperors shattered the surrounding void. Even the stars that were floating in the surroundings were shattered into pieces. The 5 of them seemed to have formed a killing zone, trapping the Kunwu Mountain Emperor in the center. Their eyes were filled with cold killing intent. You want to trap me? Then be prepared to lose a few great emperors. The Kunwu Mountain Emperor smiled faintly. However, his smile was a little cold, and his voice was sharp. Rumble. As soon as he finished speaking, he attacked the 5 great emperors. The primordial sacred mountain under his feet came crashing down majestically. It contained an immortal and indestructible fluctuation, and it blasted towards the Demon King of Chaos first. At the same time, he waved his sleeve, and the vast power of space spread out. A terrifying devouring vortex seemed to have appeared in his sleeve, leading to another world. It enveloped the Underworld Empress and the other great emperors. How dare you? The 5 great emperors were enraged. Their eyes were cold, and the vast emperor aura around them surged. They charged towards the Kunwu Mountain Emperor. Rumble. The void shattered, and the chaotic mist filled the air. An incomparably terrifying battle broke out in an instant. At this moment, there were also a few silent shadows that flew towards Jiang Yuyang, who was undergoing the heavenly tribulation. Who is it? Come out! A cold glint flashed in Ling Zhao's eyes as he roared. While he was protecting Jiang Yuyang, he instantly sensed several figures with incomparably powerful auras approaching this place. The one protecting Jiang Yiyang is only a heavenly venerable ant? He's really courting death. Kill him. Kill Jiang Yiyang. We can't let Jiang Yiyang break through successfully. Kill. In the void a blazing light bloomed. In an instant, 3 figures with powerful auras appeared and pounced towards Ling Xiao at the same time. The 3 figures were as fast as lightning. Even Ling Xiao didn't have time to see their faces clearly. However, from the aura that erupted from their bodies, they were all great emperors. There were 3 imperial emperors and each of them was extremely powerful. They were far more powerful than the Samsara Master, who had fought with Ling Xiao previously. Ling Xiao could sense that these 3 great imperial monarchs were actually all members of the devil race. In order to prevent Jiang Yiyang from transcending tribulation this time, the fiend race really paid a heavy price. Ling Xiao stood protectively in front of Jiang Yiyang. His gaze was incomparably calm. Resplendent purple light gushed out from his body, causing his aura to skyrocket. Just as the 3 emperors approached Ling Xiao and Jiang Yiyang, a blazing light erupted. Billions of streaks of starlight descended from the sky, gushing down like a vast ocean. The Zhoutian star array was activated. Zhoutian star array? Sloppy imperial monarch, you want to trap us with this half-baked formation of yours? The 3 immortal emperors seemed to have expected this. At this moment, they could not help but laugh coldly. They still did not hesitate, and continued to pounce towards Ling Xiao and Jiang Yiyang. Obviously, they knew Jiang Yiyang and the sloppy imperial monarch very well. They knew that the sloppy imperial monarch would definitely be protecting Jiang Yiyang this time. They had fought with the sloppy imperial monarch before and knew that the sloppy imperial monarch had broken through using formations. His attainments in formations were extremely high, and he had even mastered the demon race's Zhoutian star array. However, their cultivations were extremely powerful. The sloppy imperial monarch had just broken through to the immortal emperor realm not long ago. So what if he set up a formation? It would not change the outcome. The ignorant are truly fearless. I didn't expect it to be the sun, moon, and star demon monarchs of the devil race. However, do you really think that you can break through the Zhoutian star array? The sloppy imperial monarch laughed coldly. The sun, moon, and star demon monarchs were extremely powerful. The sloppy imperial monarch had interacted with them many times and had a certain understanding of each other. Without the 10,000 demon banner, the sloppy imperial monarch would not be able to trap the 3 demon monarchs even if he set up the Zhoutian star array. However, with the 10,000 demon banner in hand, so what if the 3 demon monarchs were the sun, moon, and star demon monarchs? The sloppy imperial monarch was confident that he could keep all of them here. Ling Xiao, I will activate the Zhoutian star array and separate the 3 of them. You can use the power of the formation to see if you can kill them. I have a feeling that there are other people watching us from the dark. If we can kill the 3 demon monarchs, we will definitely be able to intimidate those people in the dark. The sloppy imperial monarch quickly sent a voice transmission to Ling Xiao. All right. Ling Xiao nodded without any hesitation. Blazing lightning flashed in his palm, and the heavenly punishment saber appeared in his hand in an instant. It gave off an unparalleled radiance and slashed down at one of the demon monarchs. Rumble. At the same time, the Zhoutian star array released a dazzling radiance, and a vast emperor's aura erupted. 360 supreme stars seemed to appear in the boundless void. The Zhoutian star array received the power of the Zhoutian star array and instantly changed the heavens and earth, forming a vast formation space. The sun, moon, and star demon monarchs instantly felt the scenery before them change. They appeared beneath a vast expanse of starry skies. Moreover, the 3 of them were separated from each other, leaving them all alone. What? The Zhoutian star array is 10 times or 100 times stronger than before. The 3 demon monarchs' faces changed drastically, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. However, they quickly guessed it, especially when they sensed the majestic extreme Tao Emperor's aura within the grand formation. They understood that the sloppy monarch had probably found the core of the grand heavenly cycle stellar formation. Kill. Break the formation by force. The 3 demon monarchs' eyes were cold. Blazing demonic light rose from their bodies as they unleashed their strongest attacks. They wanted to shatter the void and break the Zhoutian star array by force. At this moment, Ling Xiao held the heavenly punishment saber and arrived behind Demon Monarch Starry. The sharp saber light slashed down with overwhelming force. "You're courting death." Demon Monarch Starry was furious. He suddenly turned around and punched out. Demonic chi rose from his fist, and it contained an immortal luster, making the punch unparalleled. He was trapped by the Zhoutian star array, but he never thought that Ling Xiao, an ant with only a heavenly venerable cultivation, would dare to attack him. Although the heavenly venerable realm and the imperial emperor realm were only separated by one realm, the difference was like heaven and earth. Not to mention, Demon Monarch Starry had broken through to the imperial emperor realm many years ago. He had long used the power of the origin to temper his body. He had formed an origin body and his body was immortal. That was why he dared to use his fist to block Ling Xiao's heavenly punishment saber. Kacha! The heavenly punishment saber and Demon Monarch Starry's fist collided. In an instant, blazing light gushed out. The heavenly punishment saber hummed and trembled, emitting the sound of metal clashing. Demon Monarch Starry's face changed. He felt a terrifying divine power coming from the heavenly punishment saber that he could not resist. It caused his body to tremble violently, and he was suddenly sent flying. Kill! Ling Xiao's eyes were cold as he suddenly roared and charged at Demon Monarch Starry again with the heavenly punishment saber. Chapter 2877. Ling Xiao had inherited the lightning imperial scripture and wielded the heavenly punishment saber. Hence, he could unleash the heavenly punishment origin within the heavenly punishment saber. When he swung the saber, it was as if the Milky Way was hanging upside down. The saber radiance was dazzling, and it went straight for the Star Demon Lord's neck. The Star Demon Lord's expression changed, and there was a hint of fear in his eyes. He did not dare to take the terrifying saber essence from the heavenly punishment saber head-on. He could not help but move away from it. The Star Demon Monarch was different from the Samsara Master. He had already understood the origin of the Great Path, and used the power of the origin to refine his body, forming the body of origin. His physical body was extremely strong, and normal attacks were useless against him. However, the heavenly punishment saber contained the heavenly punishment origin, and was an extreme Dao Emperor weapon. Under Ling Xiao's control, it seemed to be able to destroy everything, and the Star Demon Lord did not dare to take it head-on. Freeze! Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with murderous intent as he suddenly shouted, "Rumble!" The time compass gave off a dazzling light as it rose into the sky and floated above the Star Demon Lord's head. A long river of time spread out, and contained the vast power of time. It was like a mysterious time domain that enveloped the Star Demon Lord. The river of time seemed to have solidified, causing the surrounding space to come to a standstill. Furthermore, it was spreading towards Demon Lord Star. "Oh no! This is the time compass? You are Ling Xiao." The Star Demon Lord's body shook, and his eyes were filled with shock as he exclaimed, "Rumble!" He clearly recognized the time compass and Ling Xiao's identity, but he didn't have time to think too much about it. Blazing divine light rose from his body as a vast emperor's aura erupted, trying to break free from the time compass shackles. Kill! Ling Xiao's eyes were extremely cold. It was as if he had no intention of responding to the Star Demon Lord. The heavenly punishment saber once again emitted a dazzling light. As the saber light fell, the surrounding space was annihilated. It was as if a terrifying black hole had appeared, slashing down at the Star Demon Lord. The Lightning Emperor's Void Slash. This was the Supreme Emperor technique of the Lightning Imperial Scripture. Ling Xiao used both the time compass and the heavenly punishment saber at the same time to kill the Star Demon Monarch as soon as possible. After all, there were 3 demon lords trapped in Zhou Tian's great astral formation, and there were probably other experts spying on them. They had to deal with these 3 demon lords as quickly as possible, so as not to affect Jiang Yuyang's breakthrough. Furthermore, Star Demon Monarch was the weakest of the 3 demon monarchs. Even if he was slightly stronger than Samsara Master, it was not by much. Ling Xiao picked a soft persimmon to pinch, wanting to kill Starfiend Lord first. Scram! The Star Demon Lord roared out as a terrifying demonic light rose from his body. His eyes revealed a hint of madness. He could feel a strong killing intent from Ling Xiao's eyes. At the same time, the time compass and heavenly punishment saber made him feel a fatal threat. His entire body turned cold, and he was both shocked and furious. This legendary Heaven's chosen son actually possessed such horrifying combat strength with only Empyrean realm cultivation? Rumble. It was as though a demonic storm had been stirred up around Demon Monarch Starstar's body. It dispersed some of the surrounding time-stop domain, and he struggled to escape. However, the heavenly punishment saber had already descended. Blazing starlight bloomed from the Star Demon Lord's body, and the divine light in his palm was resplendent. The power of the stars instantly condensed into a silver battle spear. It was as clear as crystal, and it met the heavenly punishment saber head-on. Crack. The heavenly punishment saber carried an unparalleled saber intent as it swept across the sky and slashed at the silver battle spear. Unsurprisingly, the silver battle spear was cut into two. Surging thunderbolts, containing the vast heavenly Tao's might, slashed at the Star Demon Lord. Poof! Bloodlight bloomed in the void as one of the Star Demon Lord's arms flew across the sky, and was chopped off by the heavenly punishment saber. Ling Xiao, you deserve to die. The Star Demon Lord's eyes were filled with frenzied killing intent. Blazing divine light rose around him as his emperor's might gushed out in a mighty manner. Black demonic light swept out in all directions like a storm. Black meteorites appeared in the black demonic light, exuding a heavy and ancient aura. They were mysterious and unfathomable. Myriad Calamity Meteorite, destroy! As the Star Demon Lord roared, the meteorites around him came crashing down on Ling Xiao. The black meteorites gathered together like a black storm. However, each meteorite was incomparably heavy, as if it could shatter everything. They were like mountains that came crashing down on Ling Xiao. Boom! Ling Xiao's eyes were incomparably cold. He slashed with the heavenly punishment saber, and the saber light was dazzling, shattering one of the meteorites. However, the powerful rebounding force within the meteor caused Ling Xiao's arm to feel numb. Even with the heavenly punishment saber, an extreme Tao Emperor weapon, it was extremely difficult for him to cut the meteor apart. This showed how strong and tough the meteor was. Only now did Ling Xiao realize that the meteorites were actually formed from pure star source. Furthermore, they contained star cores, which were both a powerful emperor art and a powerful supreme treasure. The majestic meteors streaked across the sky, as if they wanted to bury Ling Xiao completely within them. I'm afraid you've forgotten that this is the Zhou Tian star array. Ling Xiao said faintly with a mocking look in his eyes. What? The Star Demon Lord's expression changed. Rumble. At that moment, blazing starlight gathered in the surroundings. Divine chains of order rose, as if 360 supreme stars had appeared. At the same time, 360 divine chains of order fell from the sky. They intertwined in the void like a star net, instantly blocking the meteorites. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with murderous intent. The heavenly punishment saber rose into the sky, accompanied by blazing lightning, and slashed down on the Star Demon Lord. The Star Demon Lord's expression was extremely ugly. The vast star source energy around him exploded. However, he realized that in the Zhou Tian star array, his star source energy was greatly suppressed, causing his combat strength to be greatly reduced. Moreover, what was even more troublesome was that the star net formed by the divine chains of order had not only trapped his meteorites, but it was also coming down on him. Boom, boom, boom. The Star Demon Lord was in an extremely sorry state. He threw out a few punches, and the black fist imprints were unparalleled. They were like stars that swept across the sky. However, the heavenly punishment saber released a sharp saber light. Rays of saber light cut across the void, shattering all of the Star Demon Lord's fist imprints. In the end, the Star Demon Lord was unable to dodge. Behind him was the star net, while in front of him was the heavenly punishment saber. It was as if he had fallen into a desperate situation. Ling Xiao, I'll remember you. The Star Demon Lord's eyes revealed an extremely pained expression. He glared fiercely at Ling Xiao, and a black stone talisman appeared in his palm. It looked simple and mysterious, and dazzling immortal light bloomed from it. Chapter 2878. Rumble. The void in front of Demon Monarch's starry star seemed to shatter in an instant. The black stone talisman enveloped him, and in an instant, he was about to transform into a beam of immortal light and disappear into the grand heavenly cycle stellar array. He was extremely decisive. Not only was he no match for Ling Xiao in this massive heavenly cycle stellar formation, but he was also in danger of dying. Therefore, he decisively activated his treasure in an attempt to escape. It's an immortal talisman? Ling Xiao's heart skipped a beat, and a sharp glint appeared in his eyes. The black stone talisman in the Star Demon Lord's hand was surrounded by bright immortal light, and exuded a mysterious and powerful immortal aura. It was very similar to the immortal talisman in Taoist Wuyang's hand, so Ling Xiao recognized it at a glance. How could the Star Demon Lord have an immortal talisman? Could it be that the Devil Clan and the Immortal Clan were in cahoots? Want to leave? Hee, Star Demon Lord, you'd better stay here. At the same time, the sloppy Emperor's voice rang in the void with a hint of mockery. Roar! An earth-shattering dragon roar rang out, causing the surrounding space to tremble in an instant. Billions of streaks of starlight gathered, forming a colossal starry dragon that was billions of kilometers long. It radiated with a vast and terrifying dragon might, as if the immemorial ancestral dragon had awakened. It tore through the layers of space, and with a swing of its huge tail, it struck the barrier of immortal light around Demon Lord Star Demon. Crack! The Star Demon Lord's body trembled violently. The immortal light barrier and the black stone talisman in his hand shattered at the same time. He was pulled back into the Zhoutian star formation by the giant star dragon. Kill! Murderous intent flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes, and he instantly seized this rare opportunity. Blazing lightning rose around him, and the heavenly punishment blade slashed down. At this moment, the Star Demon Lord was pulled back and he was flying in the direction of Ling Xiao. At the same time, there were divine chains of order surrounding the Star Demon Lord. It was the power of the Zhoutian star formation that the sloppy Emperor had activated. It temporarily trapped the Star Demon Lord and exposed him to Ling Xiao's blade. No! The Star Demon Lord roared out as his eyes were filled with indignation. Puff! With a flash of blood-red light in the void, the heavenly punishment saber slashed down from the sky, chopping off his head. Rumble! Blazing lightning rose as the vast heavenly punishment origin within the heavenly punishment saber charged towards the Starry Demon Lord's primordial spirit. At the same time, the time compass spun as it descended from the sky. The vast time domain once again pressed down, directly suppressing the Star Demon Lord's physical body. Even though Demon Monarch Starry Demon had been beheaded by the heavenly punishment blade, and was heavily injured, he was still an imperial monarch after all. Not only had his fleshly body condensed into an origin body, his primordial spirit had also formed an indestructible primordial spirit. It wasn't so easy to annihilate an imperial monarch. However, with the suppression of the heavenly punishment saber and the time compass, these two apex emperor armaments, the Star Demon Monarch's indestructible primordial spirit was unable to even charge out of his sea of consciousness. Swallow! Ling Xiao's eyes were extremely cold. He leaped forward and slammed his palm on the Star Demon Lord's body. A vast devouring power erupted from his palm. He had activated the heaven-devouring secret skill to the extreme. A vast heaven-devouring sacred domain appeared around him and enveloped the Star Demon Lord's body. The Star Demon Lord had condensed his origin body. His physical body was formed from the pure star origin and contained a vast amount of origin energy. It had been completely crystallized and was a supreme treasure. A drop of his blood was comparable to a powerful sage elixir, and could allow a sage's cultivation to improve greatly. His indestructible primordial spirit contained a powerful primordial spirit power, and even contained his comprehension of the star origin. Ling Xiao intended to refine the Star Demon Lord directly. Even though the Star Demon Lord was heavily injured, it wouldn't be difficult for him to recover. Instead of suppressing him, it was better to kill him completely to prevent future troubles. Furthermore, Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the heavenly venerate realm. Using both the chronological compass and the heavenly punishment blade at the same time was quite a burden on him. Devouring the Star Demon Lord would not only restore Ling Xiao's energy, it would also allow his cultivation to improve by leaps and bounds. Ling Xiao had a premonition that there would be a fierce battle today. Therefore, using battle to nurture battle was the best method. Rumble. As if it had sensed the Star Demon Lord's vast origin energy, even the wordless heavenly book that had merged with Ling Xiao's body emitted a strong desire. With the support of the wordless heavenly book, the speed at which Ling Xiao devoured the Star Demon Lord instantly increased by 100 times. The Star Demon Lord's flesh and blood was being devoured by Ling Xiao at a speed visible to the naked eye. It turned into vast origin energy and fused into Ling Xiao's body. As for the Star Demon Lord's body, it rapidly shriveled up. Even though his indestructible primordial spirit had been suppressed by the wordless heavenly book, it sensed that Ling Xiao wanted to devour and refine him. Instantly, his soul left his body and he could not help but beg for mercy. However, Ling Xiao was unmoved. He continued to devour the Star Demon Lord's flesh and blood. In the end, the Star Demon Lord even began to feel despair. He began to curse Ling Xiao with incomparable viciousness. Rumble. Ling Xiao's expression was indifferent and calm. His body emitted a purple glow. The devouring sacred domain spread out mightily. Like 100 rivers returning to the stream, it completely devoured the Star Demon Lord's body. As for the Star Demon Lord's indestructible primordial spirit, it could not withstand it in the end. Its consciousness was wiped away by Ling Xiao. It turned into boundless primordial spirit energy and fused into Ling Xiao's primordial spirit. Ling Xiao's entire body spewed out blazing light. His body was filled with boundless energy. The vast star origin surged, giving him a slight understanding of the star origin that the Star Demon Lord had comprehended. The trace of star origin was like a seed that fused into Ling Xiao's body, waiting for the day it took root and germinated. Ling Xiao had devoured an emperor. Brat, you actually devoured the Star Demon Lord. The Sun Demon Lord and the Moon Demon Lord have already sensed the death of the Star Demon Lord, and have begun to go crazy. Quickly go and kill the two of them. Don't let them affect Jiang Yuyang's tribulation. The sloppy emperor's voice was filled with amazement as it entered Ling Xiao's mind. Even with the Zhou Tian Great Star Formation and the Extreme Dao Emperor weapon, the sloppy emperor was incomparably amazed that Ling Xiao had defeated and even devoured the Star Demon Lord. He had already sensed that Ling Xiao's cultivation aura was becoming increasingly unfathomable, and his accumulation was becoming more and more robust. At this rate, Ling Xiao would not be able to stay in the Heavenly Venerate realm for long. One had to know that although the Heavenly Venerate realm and the Emperor realm were only separated by one realm, it was like the difference between heaven and earth. Countless Heavenly Venerate experts were trapped in the same place, unable to break through to the Emperor realm for the rest of their lives. In order to take that final step, not only did one have to comprehend the Great Tao origin, one also had to have an incomparably robust accumulation. Otherwise, one would not even be able to pass the Emperor tribulation, and would be reduced to ashes in the end. Chapter 2879. Demonic Lord Sun and Demonic Lord Moon? If I devour the two of them, I might be able to reach the peak of the Heavenly Venerable Realm. Ling Xiao licked his lips as a sharp glint flashed across his eyes. The Star Demon Lord's body and indestructible soul were supreme nourishment to Ling Xiao. He had reaped even greater benefits than refining 100 billion origin pills. Not only had it replenished what he had lost, but it had also allowed his body and soul to swell by a large amount as well. Ling Xiao's body was filled with explosive energy, and he urgently needed a huge battle to vent it out. Rumble. Under the sloppy Emperor Lord's control, the stars shook, the sun and the moon turned upside down, and the void changed. A figure with a monstrous aura appeared in front of Ling Xiao. It was a young man in a black robe. His body was shrouded in black flames. His black hair fluttered in the wind, and his eyes were cold. He was emitting a monstrous killing intent. Demonic Lord Sun. Demonic Lord Sun's strength was unfathomable. Even the sloppy Emperor Lord felt great pressure. Zhou Tian's great star formation was almost unable to suppress him. Originally, the sloppy Emperor Lord wanted Ling Xiao to deal with demonic Lord Moon first before dealing with demonic Lord Sunday. However, he had no choice but to deal with demonic Lord Sun first. You killed my third brother? You deserve to die. Demonic Lord Sun's eyes were filled with monstrous killing intent. It was cruel and bloodthirsty. It was as if two black suns were rising from his eyes. Although the three demonic lords had mistakenly entered Zhou Tian's great star formation and were isolated by the sloppy Emperor Lord Supreme Emperor formation, demonic Lord Sun still sensed the death of demonic Lord Star. His heart was filled with grief, but at the same time, monstrous killing intent surged. That's right. I killed demonic Lord Star. Next, I will send you to reunite with your third brother. You three demonic lords have killed many experts of the human race over the years. Today you will pay with your lives. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. However, his smile was incomparably cold. The three demon kings, Sun, Moon, and Star, could be said to be the vanguard of the demon clan's invasion of the divine world. Over the years, they had been stained with the blood of countless human experts in the extraterritorial battlefield. Even the sloppy emperor had fought with them before. Ling Xiao had also heard of the Sun, Moon, and Star demon lords. If he could get rid of the three demon lords here, it would be a good thing for the human race. Arrogant. Do you really think that you can fight me just because you have the Zhou Tian star array? Ant-like thing, you will never understand how big the gap between you and me is. Demon Monarch Day said coldly, and a vast and blazing storm of demonic light erupted from his body. Rumble. There seemed to be a black sun rising behind Demon Monarch Day, exuding a terrifying demonic light that contained the aura of darkness, evil, calamity, and destruction. Black Sun Calamity. Following Demon Monarch Day's roar, the black sun pressed down on Ling Xiao in an instant. The surrounding void began to distort. Much of the power of the stars in the Zhou Tian star array was swallowed by the black sun. The black storm surged as if it was going to devour all living beings. Kill. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with battle intent as he charged towards Demon Monarch Day, with the heavenly punishment blade in his hand. Rumble. Blazing lightning rose around him, causing the void all around him to tremble violently. The power of the origin of thunder spread out, forming a sea of thunder. Thunder dragons roared, and thunder giants rose into the sky, evolving into many thunder creatures. Behind Ling Xiao, a terrifying figure appeared. Bathed in lightning, it was like the true body of the Lightning Emperor, exuding a vast heavenly might. Lightning was originally the power of Yang, and could destroy all evil and darkness. It had a natural suppressive effect on the experts of the Demon Clan. Facing Demon Monarch Day's Black Sun Calamity, Ling Xiao did not hesitate to activate the Lightning Emperor scripture, and use the Heavenly Punishment Blade. Ling Xiao could sense that Demonic Monarch Day was much stronger than Demonic Monarch Star. Although the great heavenly stellar array had trapped him, it had little effect on him. However, this was also because Sloppy Monarch was using all his strength to activate the Emperor array, wanting to finish off Moon Demon Monarch. Rumble. The Black Sun Calamity clashed with the Sea of Lightning, creating an earth-shattering divine light fluctuation. The scene was incomparably terrifying. Ling Xiao and Demon Monarch Day crisscrossed in the void, clashing over 100 times in an instant. Blazing saber lights exploded, causing the blood of both of them to churn. They were shocked. He's at least a second heavenly layer monarch, maybe even a third heavenly layer. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with battle intent as he thought to himself. Demon Monarch Day was incomparably powerful. He could actually withstand Ling Xiao's heavenly punishment blade with his bare hands. Moreover, the Black Sun Calamity did not seem to be afraid of the lightning origin. He was evenly matched with Ling Xiao. Demon Monarch Day was also incomparably shocked. Ling Xiao's cultivation was only at the heavenly venerable realm, but he was able to erupt with such powerful battle strength. He was no weaker than an Emperor realm expert. Was this the potential of the heaven's chosen child? The greater the potential Ling Xiao displayed, the greater the killing intent in Demon Monarch Day's heart. Rumble. The battle between Ling Xiao and Demon Monarch Day became more and more intense. Every move was aimed at the opponent's vital points. At this moment, outside Zhou Tian's star array, several figures with incomparably powerful auras appeared. There were both men and women. Their eyes were cold and filled with killing intent as they stared at Zhou Tian's star array and Jiang Yuyang. Terrifying auras erupted from their bodies. It was another few Emperor realm experts. This time, it was just as the Kunwu Mountain Emperor had said. Jiang Yuyang's tribulation had attracted countless powerful enemies. Regardless of whether it was the demon race or the other races, none of them wished for Jiang Yuyang to succeed in his tribulation. Demon Monarch Day has fallen? Could that heavenly venerable kid be the heaven's chosen child, Ling Xiao? It shouldn't be wrong. He obtained the inheritance of the flowing time great emperor. The thing he used to suppress Demon Monarch Day was the time compass. I didn't expect this. It's really a case of searching high and low only to find it by chance. Today we'll get rid of Ling Xiao and Jiang Yuyang once and for all. That's right. Ling Xiao's talent is too terrifying. Perhaps he's already comparable to the former heavenly emperor. The human race must not produce another heavenly emperor. The massive heavenly cycle stellar array erupted. Although it enveloped the entire star, everything that happened within was still seen by the few imperial emperors. All of them were filled with killing intent. Rumble. Right at this moment, blazing divine light rose from Jiang Yuyang's body. That ancient and mysterious chaotic world slowly returned to his body. Divine light gushed out from his body, and auspicious chi coiled around him. Dazzling and resplendent runes interweaved together, causing his aura to rise explosively once again. He had survived the origin tribulation without a single scratch. Next, only the inner demon tribulation was left. As long as he passed it, Jiang Yuyang would become a true emperor realm expert. Chapter 2880. Seeing that Jiang Yuyang had passed the heavenly tribulation and origin tribulation, leaving only the inner demon tribulation, Ling Xiao and the sloppy celestial emperor were overjoyed. As long as the Zhou Tian stellar formation could hold on for a while longer, they would be able to return to the divine world after Jiang Yuyang passed the tribulation. However, before that, they still had to kill the 3 demon monarchs. Ling Xiao knew that even though it seemed like only the 3 demon monarchs were attacking, there were still countless celestial emperors hiding outside the Zhou Tian stellar formation, waiting for an opportunity to strike. They had to kill the 3 demon monarchs to intimidate them so that they wouldn't dare to act rashly. Rumble. Jiang Yuyang's body glowed brightly as dazzling lightning circled around him like a divine dragon. All kinds of mysterious phenomena appeared around him. Ling Xiao could see the tremendous origin energy surge and condense around Jiang Yuyang. It surged towards his limbs and bones, beginning to refine his body. This was a sign that the origin energy body was about to condense. Ling Xiao could feel that Jiang Yuyang's aura was getting stronger and stronger. In the end, it was like a tsunami, as if it could destroy everything. A mysterious emperor's aura spread out. At the same time, a black mist appeared around him, forming mysterious scenes of gods and demons, struggling to devour Jiang Yuyang. The divine light around Jiang Yuyang began to recede. His entire person became extremely ordinary. Only the ferocious black mist enveloped Jiang Yuyang. The inner demon tribulation had arrived. Ling Xiao and the sloppy celestial emperor's eyes shone brightly as they charged towards Demon Monarch Day and Moon Demon Monarch. Rumble. Within the massive heavenly cycle stellar matrix, the battle continued. Supreme stars fell from the sky one after another. The vast star origins intertwined with each other, containing an aura that could destroy the world. Within the myriad demon banner, terrifying figures appeared. They were all ancient divine beasts and ferocious beasts. Under the convergence of the star origins, they seemed to have come back to life. And they all charged towards Demon Monarch Day and Moon Demon Monarch. Puff. Ling Xiao's heavenly punishment saber emitted a dazzling light, leaving a deep wound on Demon Monarch Day's back. Demon Monarch Day trembled as he was sent flying. The stars seemed to be lit up one by one. In Zhou Tian's star formation, the 360 supreme stars had gathered the vast star source. Above each star, there was an Archean divine beast or a powerful fierce beast phantom. Under the condensation of the star power, they revealed their true forms and erupted with a terrifying aura. Roar, roar, chirp. The cries of dragons and tigers, as well as the cries of phoenixes, caused the surrounding space to tremble violently. It was as if they could shatter the universe and shatter the heavens. They emitted a ferocious and monstrous aura. The auras of the 360 figures were terrifying to the extreme as they charged towards the Day Demon Monarch and Moon Demon Monarch. Every single one of them had the strength of an imperial emperor. Ling Xiao, quickly kill Demon Monarch Day and Demon Monarch Moon. I can't hold on for much longer. The sloppy monarch's voice sounded in Ling Xiao's mind. He sounded weak and anxious. Evidently, the sloppy emperor had paid an enormous price to unleash such a frightening power from the Zhoutian Great Star Formation. He would not be able to last for long. Good heavens! Senior Sloppy Emperor has completely lost his temper. Even I can't manifest the true forms of the 360 divine beasts. Ling Xiao exclaimed in his heart. The reason why the massive heavenly cycle stellar formation was known as the #1 Emperor Formation of the Demon Clan was that when the massive heavenly cycle stellar formation had the 10,000 demon banner as the core of the formation, it had gathered the endless fortune of the demon clan. It could condense the strongest 360 divine beast true bodies of the demon clan in countless eras, erupting with destructive power that could annihilate everything. Ling Xiao could see that among the 360 divine beasts, the ancestral dragon, the true phoenix, the black tortoise, the white tiger, and the qilin were all present. In addition, there were legendary divine beasts such as the Taotai, the Kuei cow, the three-legged golden crow, and the golden-winged roc. The overwhelming number of figures made Demon Monarch Day and Moon Demon Monarch's expressions change drastically. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. No! Demon Monarch Day and Moon Demon Monarch roared. Their voices were extremely shrill, and their hearts were filled with despair. Rumble! The 360 divine beasts rushed over at the same time. Their terrifying attacks were like a blazing storm that enveloped Demon Monarch Day and Moon Demon Monarch in an instant. Clang! Ling Xiao's eyes were extremely cold. His killing intent was boiling as he held the heavenly punishment saber in his hand and circulated the lightning imperial scripture. Blazing lightning rose around him as the vast might of the heavenly punishment erupted. He swung his saber in the air, sealing off the heavens and earth. He wanted to kill Demon Monarch Day and Moon Demon Monarch. Oh no! Save them! Outside the Zhoutian Great Star Formation, the powerful figures could not help but tremble. Their eyes were filled with shock as they hurriedly shouted. Rumble! In the void, a vast Extreme Emperor aura erupted from the west. A shuttle-shaped Extreme Emperor weapon swept across the sky. It was as majestic as a mountain. Blazing runes and divine chains of order intertwined with each other. It contained a mysterious fluctuation as it pressed down on the Zhoutian Great Star Formation. At the same time, a dazzling immortal sword swept across the sky from the east. The sword light illuminated the 10 boundaries. Vast sword intent rose, containing the divine might of the sword Tao that could destroy everything. Endless ghostly wails and howls could be heard from the north. Chilly winds blew and ghostly chi filled the air. A black skull the size of a mountain swept across the sky, shrouded in black willow. The wisp. It also pressed down on the Zhoutian Great Star Formation. Is that the limitless formation breaking shuttle from the demon world? There's also the immortal world's immortal slaying sword and the underworld's silent burning skeleton. 3 extreme emperor weapons have arrived. Especially the limitless formation breaking shuttle. It will definitely be able to break this supreme emperor formation. Everyone, let's attack together and kill Jiang Yiyang, Ling Xiao, and the sloppy monarch. Kill. Outside the Zhoutian Great Star Formation, the eyes of the few figures with terrifying auras lit up. Without any hesitation, they instantly swept across the sky and charged towards the Zhoutian Great Star Formation. Rumble. The 3 extreme emperor weapons swept across the sky and arrived first. They unleashed an unparalleled extreme emperor aura and instantly collided with the Zhoutian Great Star Formation. The Zhou Great Star Formation shook violently and let out a loud rumble. The Limitless Formation Breaking Shuttle, in particular, seemed to be able to break open the heavens. It contained a great destructive force and instantly pierced through the layers of space of the Zhou Great Star Formation. It actually charged into the formation and shot towards Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, be careful. The sloppy monarch spat out a mouthful of blood and roared at Ling Xiao. Peek. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.